Star Report. I'm your host, Star. Tuesday afternoon, research edition. Okay. The title is not trending. Let me just say right now, is cancer a curable disease in the United States? This is a very personal topic to me and many of you. And according to the stats, the data, and the research, some of you in the very near future will be dealing with this, or family members, loved ones. I don't have notes per se. I've just got a couple of videos I want to play, and I want to talk about this from a personal perspective. Let me just say right now, foul language will not be tolerated when you call in. Okay, this is an early afternoon research edition. Two of my uncles passed away from cancer. The most recent one was in Stone Harbor, New Jersey, when I moved from Woodstock, GA, for those who know, back up to Stone Harbor because one of my aunts who was in the home that I purchased years ago developed dementia. So I got her into a situation where her daughter could help her, but then one of my uncles got cancer. I'm not going to go into the depths of the cancer itself because this was mind-blowing for me, to say the least. It was a learning experience. I took pride and pleasure in taking care of him. He had insurance. I've got money, not to flex. But this world is so deep and so layered to the point where I learned about things about, doctors and referrals and specialists being in network. So in reality, it doesn't matter if you have money or not. You have to be in network to get certain care. And I welcome anyone to call in this afternoon and educate me and others because, again, it was like a crash course for me. I'm going to be jumping around. Prior to the uncle who I took care of back in New Jersey a couple of years ago, another one of my uncles got cancer during the pandemic and up in Rome, New York. So I had to hire some people to assist him, and the pandemic was rough on everybody, all of us. So I wasn't able to necessarily be there for him. So I'm going to focus on the uncle who passed away in Stone Harbor, New Jersey. And again, I took pride in taking care of him. He was a great uncle to me back in the 70s and the 80s. And I urge any of you, if you have not already, or if you are going through cancer, record conversations with your loved ones. Take video footage. Let them talk and listen. Also, it will humble you. Woo. Can I get an amen early in the live chat? Has anybody been humbled by cancer? Taking care of someone you love. I learned so much about medicine, what medicine to pull back off of, what medicines cause different side effects. I learned about different things with regards to blood work and UTIs, urinary tract infections, and other things to look for when you go to see the primary care physician. And then when you get a referral or request a referral to go get an MRI or a CAT scan, how to request a disc after you get the CAT scan, right? Or the MRI, you can request these things. This was a whole learning experience. So again, my reason for talking about this, it's not a trending topic, but I think that, we can help each other. And we've been getting some really good interaction the last couple of videos that were not necessarily trending topics. Now, there's many different forms of cancer. So there cannot be one particular cure. And the reason why I'm even walking through all of this is because I have a theory. I have a theory. I have a theory. Now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. However, I'm not sure the U.S. government wants to cure it. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So I've learned. Billion-dollar industry. Now, salute to everybody who works in home health care. Let me go back to my uncle for a second in Stone Harbor, New Jersey. Hey, I had him sitting there. You know, he'd wake up on the goddamn ocean. And I made him as comfortable as he could be, but the cancer had advanced to the point where surgery was not even an option. Anybody go through that? When they say, hey, surgery's it's not gonna do it. And then you find yourself pushing and pushing, as I was. And then my uncle, who was almost 90, who outlived not only his friends, but most of his relatives, our relatives. He was on my mother's side. It got to the point where he was saying to me, Troy, I love you, but I can't even eat the food today. The food that we eat, you and I, is pure shit. I have to use profanity to say that. It's pure shit. Everything is processed. There's so much, Posilac, growth hormones. We're eating things that are just, that dogs and cats won't even eat. And he said to me, Troy, I can't even eat this stuff. You've prepared a great meal. Home health care attendants would come twice a week, sometimes 3, but everyone's relatives doesn't want company in the house. Can I get an amen? He could walk. He was walking with the stroller, but then I had to get him a wheelchair. He didn't like the food of today. Milk is not milk, right? Cheese is not cheese. Has anybody ever paid attention to the where it says the slices? It says cheese product, but it's not cheese. So I made the best of our time together before he passed on, made his transition, and he was a believer. So I would, pray with him. Absolutely. Never mind me being a non-believer. When you have someone who you love and you care for, you do what makes them feel comfortable, pardon me. I do want to ask you guys, because it's been many, many years since I even did any type of research. In the UK, United Kingdom, I do know that a lot of the food that we produce here, they won't even accept it over there. Anybody want to call in and break that down? In the UK, they look down upon all of the different food colorings, the dyes, fructose, glucose, all of the cancer-causing agents that are in some of the stuff that we consume. We know it's not food. But in the UK, they just outright reject it. Okay. Hold on a second. I just remembered something. So, with my little bit of knowledge by way of, going to institutions of learning, but having experienced all of this, and again, I had a great time with my uncle. I'd push him in the wheelchair. We went to the radiation therapy 2 weeks in a row. I made sure we were there every day on time. I'm wearing my gloves. I got all my notes still here in my office. I'm printing out everything every time we would go to an appointment. I'm not even trying to flex, but a lot of the nurses and the other people, administration people, they were complimenting me. Wow, whoa, you must really love your uncle. I just say, You betcha. You betcha. So let me go back. The reason why I say I have a theory, maybe our government doesn't necessarily want to cure cancer. Why don't we have any type of mandatory cancer testing in America? Like when people, when you go get a certain job, or even in sports. How they want to test you for drugs, right? All sorts of other stuff and things that don't necessarily mean anything in the long run. But when that cancer gets a hold of you, and I say this with all due respect, it's hard to slow it down. And again, there's different types of cancer. Just give me some time. I'm going to play videos, pardon me. Why don't we have mandatory cancer testing? Good afternoon, guys. I don't have my contacts in, but I'm going to try and get your donations on the screen. I'll get to this showrunner. I'm in no rush. Thank you, Mob662 star in Europe. The chemo works better. What better? Terran, cold weather. Okay, thank you. Okay. My uncle and I chose to go the route of radiation therapy, and truthfully, it helped him. It gave him another year. He bounced back. I mean, but then it came back because we were told that the cancer would return, but they just didn't know at what rate. Mob662 also says dose of biopsy, make it spread as they say. Okay. Do you want to call in? Hey, I learned. And I gotta say, it again, it humbled me. It humbled me, and I think that to some degree, it's made me think about my future, my own mortality. People always say, "Well, who's going to take care of you if you're not married?" With all due respect, I think I'll put the Mossberg in my mouth if I start going down the road of cancer like I witnessed with some people. It's brutal. Okay, and I say that with all due respect. Okay, thank you, Patrice. I got your donation. Lydia, thank you so much. Okay. I see some of you in the queue. I'm going to come to the phone lines in a minute, and let's have a healthy conversation. Please watch the language. Stay on topic. Also, guys, showrunner, New York Knicks fire the head coach, Tom Thibodeau. Let me say right now, because I already got a couple of emails and text messages, I say this with all due respect. Knock it off with that "I told you so" nonsense. You ain't told me nothing. I'm a Knick hater, always have been. If you're a fan, you're delusional. Go tell the New York Knicks organization if you know so much. Oh, yeah, I told you. Don't now try and find excuses for the trash organization. The entire organization is trash. Always has been. I used to bark on the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. They threw me out and banned me for close to 7 years. Allen Houston was a joke. Latrell Sprewell was a joke. Carmelo Anthony, a joke. Why does he still smile as if he brought it home for the Knicks? He's a goofy. Let me calm down. All right, let me play one video and then I'll come back to the phones. Give me a second, guys. All right. Early research edition. Let's educate each other. Or if there's someone who from the world of health or insurance, please call in, break this down. Here we go.
1 out of every 2 men and 1 out of every 3 women will be diagnosed with an invasive cancer in their lifetime. For this reason, it's really important to know more about what cancer is, what makes it up, and how it's treated.
At the simplest level, cancer or cancer cells are cells that have lost the ability to follow the normal control that the body exerts on all cells. In our body, we have billions and billions of cells, and they have different functions. It's a very complicated process under incredibly phenomenal control. And if something goes wrong and that control is lost, then particular cells escape the normal control mechanisms, and they continue to grow, and they may spread. That's what we call cancer.
As those cells grow and divide, they turn into a mass, or they clump together, and that's what we would call a tumor. And then they can get smart and then spread other places, and that's what we call metastasis.
Cancer can actually occur anywhere in the body because there are cells everywhere in the body. In women, one of the most common cancers, of course, is breast cancer, and in men, prostate cancer. And in both men and women, lung cancer and colon cancer are common cancers.
One of the things we're now learning is that just because you have breast cancer doesn't mean that your breast cancer is the same as the person that's sitting next to you that may have breast cancer. And therefore, you can get an individual treatment plan that's based on you as an individual and your particular cancer type.
Once the diagnosis of cancer is made, of course, the next obvious question is, what do you do? There are several things that are really relevant. The stage of the cancer, which is information about where is the cancer. You say it's a particular kind of cancer. How much cancer is present? Has it spread? Is it in lymph nodes? Has it spread to other organs of the body?
Cancer treatment actually is very complex. And part of the reason is because cancer is this constellation of over 200 different diseases. They have common characteristics, but they're all very different from each other. In addition to that, the cancer itself is not homogeneous. There may be 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 different slight variations in the cancer cells that are there. People ask, why? Why does my cancer not go away? It shrunk by 70%. What's wrong with the other 30%? Well, it's probably a different subtype of that cancer, which is going to require a different kind of treatment.
The primary methods for treatment of cancer are surgery, radiation, and chemotherapy. Surgery is when you literally remove the cancer. You make an incision, you find the cancer, and you cut it out. Radiation is actually taking what we call photons, same thing that you use to take an X-ray picture in order to treat a focal area of cancer. Chemotherapy is using a drug or chemical that's either taken by mouth as a pill or given through an IV into the vein, targeting those cells that are dividing more quickly.
Area code 267. Good afternoon. I'm talking about a topic that's not trending. Are you there? 267? Yes, no, maybe.
Yeah, I'm here.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Can't complain.
You're on a speakerphone, sir. Please don't kill the vibe. We can't do that. What are we doing?
Take you on speaker. Okay, can you hear me better now?
There you go. How are you, sir? Where do you want to start?
Well, first and foremost, I was the one that did the super chat for the cure the stage 4 cancer naturally.
Okay.
I had prostate cancer, and it spread to my lymph nodes, and then also my spine as well.
Okay.
So I had to figure out another means because the doctors wasn't helping. And I think first and foremost, a big part of beating cancer is the mental aspect. I think a lot of us check out as soon as we get that message.
Okay.
You know, and we're willing to listen to the doctors as much as possible. But now that I've seen so many people pass away from family members and friends, I realize it's just.
Are you Byron? Is that you on the screen right now?
Yeah. I used to work with you with the Battle Rap Network.
Okay.
For the females years ago.
How old are you?
Mm-hmm. 44.
Wow.
44.
So I'm just asking. I don't know. When did you first find out about the cancer? How did you get the prognosis? What led you to going to? Would you get an MRI or a CAT scan? How'd you find out?
Well, first and foremost, I just didn't feel right. I felt weird. Okay. No energy, tired, just pain, throughout the body. Couldn't really figure out where it was.
Okay.
So I was doing a lot of checkups, going to see doctors. Did the prostate examination. The crazy part is, they at first was telling me everything was fine. I did an MRI, then I did a CAT scan. I guess at the time it was still too fresh for them to really see it. I mean, that's what I think now. But then again, who knows, man? I mean, now thinking back, like I said, I think sometimes I think that they wait until it progresses a little further because, again, not to get into the whole money-making business thing, but I think that's a big part of it. But they were telling me they saw stuff like
I would say that's a huge part of it. Now, hang on a second. You on the screen, you said you had stage 4 cancer. At what point were you diagnosed with stage 4 cancer? At what point?
Probably I'd say it took, when I first noticed I was feeling weird, I'd say from probably like a year in, about a year in from when I first started feeling weird. And like I said, I went and got checkups. They weren't really giving me answers, so I had to go a little deeper and do my own soul searching with that. Came across a doctor out in Oregon who was a natural homeopathic doctor, and he gave me, I took this saliva test. A lot of stuff he did, I guess he was worried about being compromised of, so you had to sign up for a membership for him to do the saliva test, and then he would run through your saliva. He would run. He had what's called a frequency machine, and the frequency machine would not only just tell you about cancer in your body, but it would literally tell you from A to Z everything that's going on that's wrong in your body. So from there,
did you drink any baking soda? I've been hearing. I tried
that.
Bunch of different.
You mean like to beat the cancer? Was that one of the things I did? Is that what you mean?
I don't know. When my uncles, two uncles, were diagnosed with cancer, I mean, I went straight to traditional medicine. I went to specialists and referrals. You're saying you bypassed all that, but what I'm trying to find out is who made the determination that you had stage 4? Stage 4 means you're almost out of here, right? Stage 4?
Right. And all the stages really mean is how many organs has it spread to. That's really what it means. That was another thing I had to realize. Like, stage 4 doesn't mean like it just means that it is spread more than it's hit at least two areas on top of where it started.
Well, it also means that the chances of remission are not that good. That's what stage 4 means. Go ahead.
Right. So like I said, I did the saliva test. And then after he came back and saw that it was my prostate and it went to my lymph nodes. So at that point, then I took that and I went back to a medical doctor and got re-examined, did another MRI, did a CAT scan, and that's when I got diagnosed. Okay. But I had to go do my own research for them to take me serious and retest me again almost a year later. That's when I was diagnosed. Right. And then at that point,
listen, I got to take other calls, but here's what I want to ask you. Okay. What are the chances that your cancer can return? Because again, remission and other things that people need to follow up on. Sometimes the time in between, and they don't get more CAT scans or whatever it is that you do. How do you know that the cancer is not coming back, or is it coming back?
So I personally, I love that test that I take, that saliva test. I do that about once to twice a year. Okay. And that kind of keeps me in the loop of where I am. Okay. But I'm not worried about it returning because of all the different natural elements I actually do. And like I said, that's pretty deep involved as well. We haven't even spoke about what I did. We can always talk about that another time. Or anybody that's listening to me, I'll be willing to help. I'm always about helping people with cancer and stuff because a lot of people just are not informed. So,
listen, send me an email. I appreciate the call, man. Salute, and good to catch up with you again.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, Star.
Okay. Right. Let me print something out here, guys. Anybody ever take baking soda and some type of sodium bicarbonate? This is being investigated as a potential complementary treatment for cancer. Baking soda. And I saw somebody else maybe 3 years ago when I was working with my uncle, and they were mixing baking soda with some type of honey. And they were seeing some good results. Peace, Sincere. Sincere, you can call in. I'm not doing a deep dive on the New York Knicks. I don't believe. I never believed. Just the Knicks are trash. Please don't get it twisted. The Knicks are so trash. I'm not even going to watch the finals between the Pacers and OKC. I don't care. I just wanted to see the New York Knicks go down in flames, and they did. Area code 201. Is that Rob Lowe? 201.
Star Pete. Star Peace. Rob Lowe 2000.
Hey, man.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Good to hear from you. It's cracking, Rob.
All right. So the gentleman before me, the information that he gave is valid.
Okay.
I'm not going to say 100%. I'm going to say like 99%. Okay. Everything he said was valid. Okay. I didn't hear any fault. I've been through the cancer situation with family members and friends, very close family members. Okay. I had a family member pass in my arms from cancer after the surgery.
Condolences.
That video, I'm trying to remember everything that the young man said that was valid. That frequency machine is probably one of the most valid things that he said. Mm-hmm. I did that frequency machine, and it not only detects those things and things that are going wrong with you, but it also detects things that you might be allergic to that you don't know that you are allergic to, that you continue to consume because it tastes good.
Right.
When I did the frequency machine, there were things that the doctor told me, because it was a holistic doctor, most likely maybe a black doctor, a Cuban black doctor, a Haitian black doctor, that they deal with that holistic medicine. When they did that frequency machine, there was about 5 things that I was eating that I should not have been eating, that also dealt with my blood type. That's the other thing. You have to know what's right for your blood type. There's a book out about that states what is right that you should be eating that involves your blood type, which also goes back to your natural habitat of where you are from on this earth, what you should be eating and what you should not be eating. That is also an issue that causes cancer.
If I can jump in for a second, Rob Lowe. I mean, me personally, at my age, there's things that I know have no nutrition. But sometimes I get hungry. I'm driving. I try not to be too involved in this goddamn this phone every day of my life. I try to prepare meals sometimes, but at the same time, I'm one of those people. I look into my refrigerator after 2 or 3 days, and I start throwing stuff out. I know. Well, hold on one second. Let me just say this. I know, and I'm not going to say any names, but there used to be a name brand of meat. It's no longer meat. It's some type of processed something. After 2 days, after I make 2 sandwiches, I throw the whole goddamn thing out. So I agree with you in terms of what we consume, and I got to make sure I talk about mobile chicken farms. But now people are consumed. Everything is in real time, fast. Of course, microwave food is what we all gravitate towards. But can we really, as a society here in America, go back to healthy eating and stuff like that, or are we pretty much just lost?
Well, it's like your boy used to say, it's either vote or die, right? Okay. So if you don't go back to it, you're going to die. You're going to have a poor quality of life.
Okay.
Illness, if you're sick, that is the quality of your life. It doesn't matter if you got millions of dollars if you don't have your health.
Yeah.
You have to have your health. So what we're talking about here is not about what you make time for. It's not about what you want to do. It's about what is and what isn't. If you eat McDonald's, if that's your life, you are setting yourself up for poor health. The other thing I wanted to tell you is that video that you played with those doctors trying to talk about cancer and all, most of that, what they said is wrong. most of that.
Well, I'm going to be playing more of it, and I want other people to chime in, whether you think it's wrong or not. Some of that stuff has helped me. I've got a bunch of videos, and if you learn, by way of experience, I think experience in this particular area is a good teacher, not the best, but a good teacher. Go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, from what I remember, because I'm trying to do this quick.
Go ahead.
The tumor is good and it's bad, because the tumor, what it is a collection of the cells that are going bad, and the tumor is what lets you know that you have an issue. When you first, if you do radiation or you take chemotherapy, anything like that, that's killing you. It's not helping you. Yes, it burns out the cells, but that also kills you. The other thing is that if you put any incision in your body, an incision is inflammation. You're going to die from that also.
Okay.
So all of these things, the incision causes cancer. And like the young man said, the stage 4 is just letting you know how much further it has gone in your body.
Okay.
Now, when, like you said, the humbling effect.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
When people are dealing with cancer, this is one of the things, the stages that you go through. You go through anguish. You definitely go through fear.
Mm-hmm.
You go through anger. You go through frustration. There's a whole bunch of things. So the doctor becomes your savior if you are not well researched in what it is that you're going through.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I had a family member that was at a very famous hospital in New York. I'm not going to say the name.
Don't say the name. I'm not trying to slander.
That's right.
The medical
I'm not going to say the name.
Go ahead.
When I was going through it with the family member, my right-hand man, his mother worked there. And she told me, get him out of here.
Yeah.
This is known. It's a money grab. And that's exactly what it was.
Okay.
They went, they did surgery. The surgery made it worse from the stage into the stage 4, because through the blood, the cancer had spread.
Yeah.
Now,
Pablo, I got to take other calls, man.
Here.
I got to take other calls. Can you land your plane, please?
I'm landing the plane by, there's an easy way to cure cancer. It is through health. It is through holistic idea. You can defeat cancer with certain foods, but you have to do the research. Okay. It's out there. It's not that hard.
Thank you, Rob.
You can't let the fear overtake you. Salute, Star.
Thank you, sir. Okay. All right. Rob Lowe tapping in. Lance, I got your donation. Thank you very much. Deeds, did I put the Cash App? I'm sorry. Did I put the PayPal information at the top of the live chat? Deeds, can you check that for me? As I said, guys, I'm going to be bouncing around with regards to some of the things that most of us should know, but if you don't, spread the word. The food that we consume today is not the same food from 50 years ago, 75 years ago, 100 years ago. For the most part, that was organic food. The label now of organic doesn't necessarily mean that. Something I want to point out, something I saw maybe 10 years ago, mobile chicken houses. Mobile chicken houses and coops. And the reason why they're mobile now is because of the disgusting way that chickens are fed, bred, and raised with the growth hormones, the antibiotics, and to the point where they swell up with the pus. A lot of them can't walk. And what's coming out of their bodies by way of waste is so foul, and it's the gas. It can I shouldn't laugh. It can cause serious harm if you're a person trying to clean up in a goddamn mobile chicken house. You guys know about this? Of course you do. So they designed these mobile chicken houses. We now have Jumbo Franks, Jumbo Burgers, Jumbo Chicken Legs. It's because of the growth hormones, and we know it's not healthy. Something else I wanted to point out before I go back to the phone lines here. Anybody want to talk about some of the different drugs? I had to pull my uncle back off of this drug called LASIK. Anybody ever heard of LASIK? Wow, that stuff was crazy. He couldn't walk. He was disoriented. And the combination of the LASIK and some type of thyroid medicine was literally, if you ask me, making him almost have these nightmares. Let me bring in area code 347. Hey there, good afternoon. Please watch the language. We're discussing cancer. Is it curable in the United States? Are you there? 347?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, how are you? Good afternoon.
Yes, I do believe it is curable. I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Ryle Rafe. You can look up his articles. He was able to find cancer through microscopes. It's since been destroyed.
Okay.
But there are some folks that
Is he still alive, sir? Is he still alive? Still with us?
No. So the gentleman, the doctor, he died in the 70s.
Okay.
He proved to cure cancer. He had 12 patients. They all were cured within 10 weeks.
Okay.
And the last 2 were cured 6 weeks after that with that treatment. You can also do dewormers. That's been heavily linked to cancer. Hence why when you do biopsies, they say if you do it, it then spreads it. Hence dewormers, you get rid of that. Cancer generally does cure. But
hang on, sir. I got more videos to play. There's over 200 different forms of cancer. So, I hear what you're saying. You, any personal experience yourself, any family members, loved ones, or cancer? You?
In nursing homes, helping those whose family members didn't come. As you say, it smells terrible. It's very unpleasant, but all you can do is...
I was talking about the mobile chicken homes smelling terrible, not necessarily cancer
apologies,
patients.
Apologies. No, but if I don't know if you have experience where once it opens, let's say breast cancer, for instance, if it's open, you can then smell the deterioration of the skin. That's unpleasant, but all you can do is, help them out, clean it. That way
I've never dealt with anybody that had breast cancer. Is this a field you work in? You sound like you have.
Correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are you certified or are you holistic?
Certified.
Okay. Well, don't say where you work, but now, do you specialize in cancer patients? Are you someone who they have to get a referral to come see you, because it's all about the referrals, right?
Yes. So you do need a referral if you have, let's say, Medicaid. But if you have the pretty high end insurance, you can bypass referrals.
I don't know if, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know of any insurance that helps you bypass referrals. You got Blue Cross, Blue Shield, you got Cigna. I learned about a whole lot of stuff, man. When you say bypass referrals, what are we talking about?
So if you go to a general specialist, obviously they always want you to go through your primary care.
Right.
But what you can do, depending on what you're trying to treat, you can, with the insurance you have, go directly to the specialist. I don't want to, give away that type of information, but you can bypass using a referral.
Okay. But now to get, and correct me if I'm wrong, but to get either radiation therapy or surgery or chemotherapy, you need a referral for that. They're not just going to let you walk in.
You need a referral. Yeah, you can't just walk in for surgery, chemo. You do need a referral because they you do have to verify. They're just not going to give it to any random person.
Yeah. Listen, I could go to see an oncologist, and I could say, hey, I got an issue. I want to talk to somebody. Oh yeah, well, okay, we'll talk to you. But to come in and get treatment, you need the referral.
No, that's egregious. Yeah. No, I appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Yes, sir. Okay. We're having a good conversation. Again, this is all by way of personal experience. But I do want to say, again, I want to emphasize to anybody who has, whether it's an uncle, an auntie, a mother, father, a great grand, it can be a beautiful time that you can share with this person, and they become vulnerable, and you have to let them know, hey, I'm here for you. I'm not going to leave you. Anybody ever sit with a family member at the hospital all day for hours? Anybody ever change the diaper of someone that you love? Huh? We're bringing area code 973. Good afternoon. Have we spoke yet? 973. It's Tuesday. Yes, no, maybe. 973. If not, I have to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much. Are you calling from overseas? From France?
That's
maybe?
right. What's up? That's right. What's up, Star?
How are you, man? What's cracking? We're shaking.
I'm good, man. I was just chiming in. I was listening to your program.
Yeah.
About cancer. And I had a friend some years back. When I met him, he was in remission.
Okay.
And eventually he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
But, like the guy was saying earlier, the mental aspect is very important, and
can be, yeah.
I think
it can be, yeah.
Yeah, I think, of all these years and all the money that's been donated towards cancer research, the mere fact that they haven't found a cure is mind-boggling. I think it's all about money, and when you get diagnosed.
Well, hang on now. Let's not act like it's just one cure, because cancer, there's many different forms of it, right? Many different forms. But I agree with you. It needs to be attacked. And what do you think about, I don't know how long you've been listening, what do you think about what I suggested? Mandatory cancer testing, let's say at age 25. There's no states, according to my research, there's no states that have mandatory cancer testing.
Well, I think doing that, you could be going down a slippery slope as well.
Okay.
Because now it only, it's all about the business of cancer, which I think, could be problematic.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest thing, is the prevention aspect, where we got to start eating better in America. The ingredients that are in the food in America, they have ingredients in food in the U.S. that's banned in Europe.
So I said all of that earlier. I guess you're just now tuning in. I said in the UK, there's certain foods that we produce here, they won't even allow into Europe. There's like a whole list. I'll Google it unless you know some of them. I've been down that path already.
Oh yeah. I mean, even I don't eat it, but like Doritos, the Doritos you find in the U.S., you look at the ingredients on the back. There's things in it that's banned in Europe. So I mean, what are we doing here? If it's banned in Europe, that means something's wrong with it. There's no way we should be eating that stuff. But I think we have to start at the source, at the root, which is the food, the water, the environment. It is toxic, and that's what causes these diseases. So
hang on a second. Food dyes, chlorine washed chicken, bread products. Pardon me. Pork products. Yeah, well, I've said this already. Now you're from America, right? And I think we've spoken before. You're in France. Any personal experience with cancer, relatives, a loved one?
Yeah, like I said earlier, when I was, some years back, I had a friend. When I met him, he was in remission, and then, he was, going through the traditional, treatment, and then it came back, and he lost his life. But that's my only experience with, up close and personal with the disease.
Have you yourself had a CAT scan or an MRI? How old are you? I forget.
No. I'm at the age where I get a thing in the mail every month or so because in France, we have Social Security. We're covered. You can go to the hospital, no charge. And every month they send me a thing to get a.
But do you go? That's the question. Do you?
No, I don't go. I don't go because I haven't gone. Right. I haven't gone because
With all due respect, sir, I have no interest in France. Is the water still like drinking poison?
What do you mean the water?
Water.
No.
Sir. Water in France for centuries has been like drinking poison. You're saying it's all better now?
Well, I drink bottled water. Oh. I don't drink the tap water.
Can you Google it? I got 8 windows open. Can you go? I can. Water in France. How bad is troll babies? How bad is the water in France?
No, well, the thing is, depending on which region you're in, it's not the same water. So maybe in some regions but in my region, there's nothing wrong with the water. It's fine. So, I've never heard of.
You've got something called forever chemicals and all sorts of pesticide byproducts. Sir, it was great talking to you. Great talking to you.
Likewise.
Yes,
likewise.
I've never been to France, but I do know that water is contaminated. Do women from France still not use deodorant? I had some musty coochie a few times from Paris. Anyway, hold on a second. Okay, hey, Deeds. Okay, yeah. Deeds says a type of forever chemical linked to health problems and birth defects has been found in the tap water of many French cities, and including Paris. Guys, here's something else I want to say. And again, I'm just rambling here this afternoon. This is a research edition. But what I went through with my uncle, again, back in Stone Harbor, New Jersey, it was life-altering for me, but at the same time, it was a nice experience, to reconnect with someone who helped me when I was younger, and they in turn, I could help them. Radiation therapy is painless for those who don't know. Anybody ever deal with radiation therapy? I have no experience with chemotherapy. That's where you can either drink something. Do they inject chemotherapy in you, or do they just put it in that the IV? I'll tell you something about my uncle when we return here with regards to something that he said was pretty funny. Area code 313. Good afternoon. My topic is not trending. Cancer. Are you up to speed? 313.
Yes, sir, I do.
How are you? Good afternoon, sir. You have the floor.
How you doing, sir?
I'm good. Where do you want to start?
I just want to speak about this cancer topic.
Please, go ahead.
And this is my thoughts. If you're young with good insurance, with a job, they take care of it.
Okay.
If you are young with government insurance, they milk it. Same thing with old people. Old people with good insurance, they'll make it till they die. But if you're an old person with government insurance, they'll milk it till it die. If you're an old person with no insurance, they don't even want to hear about it. They will turn you away. If you got money, they will help you. Cancer is curable. I was cured. I had lymphoma.
Okay.
I caught it early.
You caught it early.
But I had good insurance with a job.
Okay.
My mother had good insurance. Lady retired. Ovarian cancer. They milked it until she died. It's all the thing about money right now. They help who they think can help the generation. But if you can't help the generation, they let you die. I would like your thoughts on that.
I think you've said what you needed to say. I've been sitting here talking for over an hour. I have no issue with what you said. I'm giving my own personal account. I find some things to be concerning. I'm concerned about, of course, the food that we consume now. I've said, in case you missed it, that I think there should be some type of mandatory cancer testing. Maybe, you know, in your 20s. In your 20s.
I'm 50 now.
Okay.
I got my cancer when I was 32.
Okay.
I just was successful enough, not too successful that I'm not out the hood, but I was successful. But the thing is, these people look at it as a money project, as Big Pharma. They only help when they want to, only help communities that they need to.
Can I ask, what do you think, or do you know what led up to your cancer prognosis? Was it?
I think it wasn't the food, it was my job.
Okay.
I used to work with chemicals.
Okay.
So I think more or less our family was raised off pig and everything else off the earth.
Mm-hmm.
It might be the things they put in the food, but they can cure it if they generate it.
Yeah.
They don't want to because it's about money.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't want to, just generalize. I've got another video that I do want to play because there's many different forms of cancer, but that's what I'm leaning towards, that the fact that it's such a huge multi-billion-dollar industry, to the point where, hey, some things we have to figure it out. It's going to take time, and let's get more more people, let's get more lobbyists involved, and then we'll figure it out 10 years from now. Go ahead and land your plane.
We can't do that if it's about money.
Right.
All these people in the government is about money.
Yeah, I agree.
They don't want to help the people because we're trying to reduce the population to a certain extent.
Okay.
It's all about money.
I appreciate the call. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right. My uncle, who passed away right before I moved down to Emerald Isle, North Carolina, which is where I'm at right now. I sold the home in Stone Harbor. I made a decision. I mean, it was a beautiful home, and I purchased it back in 2004, and I made some great money off of it. But when my uncle passed away, I said, what am I going to do here? Because for those who know Stone Harbor, Cape May County, a lot of those places, you can't just rent to anybody. You can't turn it into an Airbnb. And me, I'm the type of person I'd never have company. So I said, well, maybe it's time to just pack up and leave. So here I am now, in Emerald Isle. But the reason why I wanted to say all that is because one morning, I was making some coffee for myself and my uncle, and I heard him say in his room, "Fuck!" So, of course, I go running in his room. I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "I woke up." You get it? He was pissed that he woke up. He was hoping that he would have died in his sleep anyway. Let me go to area code 919. Are you there? Good afternoon. Talking about is cancer a curable disease in the United States? Area code 919. Yes, no, maybe.
Hello, Mr. Terrain. What's going on?
How are you? Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, I'm the guy that I spoke to you. First of all, I sent in a donation. WWP Genetics is on the board right now.
Okay. Good to hear from you.
All right.
Where do you want to start?
Yeah, I'm the guy that talked to you maybe last month or so. I called you because I had cancer, the lymphoma cancer.
Okay.
Non-Hodgkin's. You start talking about I sounded nasally, and I was like, yeah, I just found out today that looks like I have cancer.
So did you? How did your cancer go into remission, or are you still dealing with it?
Right now, it looks like it went into remission.
Okay.
I did not allow them to cut me open.
Okay.
I did not go into chemo. What I told them, if you think it's cancer, then just go ahead and give me the medicine that you want to give me, that you're going to give me. Okay, so they didn't really agree with that. So then what I did, I took it upon myself. I did some research. I looked into some homeopathic ways to try to go about curing it.
Okay.
And also started taking CBD along with it. And so when I went back, they're telling me that most of the lymph nodes have shrunken.
Okay.
So something I missed. One doctor actually told me that on an accident, I think, because they're ready to either try to take a lymph node out of my neck or one in my chest. And then, I was trying to delay this. And when I spoke to, I forgot the exact name of this doctor that.
How old are you, sir? And what type of insurance do you have? Can I ask you those two questions? How old are you? And what type of insurance do you have?
I'm 50 years old.
50. Okay. And what type of insurance do you have when you were getting these, treatments, or the doctors were looking at you? What type of insurance do you have?
I have Humana, Medicaid, Medicare, and Blue Cross Blue Shield.
All of them?
Some, yes. Some is carried over because of my parents.
Okay.
And then, Medicaid, Medicare, that's government.
Okay.
And so, and then, my money is pretty good because one time I was into commodity trading. But anyway. So yeah, I took it upon myself to look into it, and I went about a homeopathic way and took CBD. But they're telling me that I need to come back because they want to continue doing the MRI. So I'm still under intensive care, meaning that I have to keep coming back.
When's the last time you had a CAT scan?
They always get those mixed up with CAT scan and MRI. I don't go into the one that's the full body one. I go into the one that's the half body, and I have to get the dye or sugar. It's not dye, in fact, it's sugar.
Okay.
Because with the lymph nodes, if you have too much sugar, then your lymph nodes will show up.
Okay. All right. Well, hey man, you're still here. I appreciate the call. Any suggestions, or with regards to people who may be going through what you're still dealing with? Any advice?
Yeah. So what I think, of course, always listen to your doctor, because I'm going to say that just that's what you're supposed to say.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But I didn't listen to my doctor. I didn't let them cut me open. Right. I would say look into it, because before there was doctors around, we were being healed without doctors. So I say look into it.
We were actually a lot healthier 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 1,000 years ago. Do you know that? We were healthier then.
Yeah. I believe so. And I think it is. I think the medical field is a big racket, because they don't want to cure you, right? They want you to keep going on with the disease, so you keep taking the medicine, and then you could keep going back to the doctors. Because, like I said, if that one doctor didn't tell me, well, your lymph nodes have gotten smaller, I was getting ready to go in for surgery.
Okay.
But it's the fact that he didn't want to go into my lung area and take a lymph node out.
Gotcha. So I have to take other calls. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right.
Hey, man, are you there?
Yo, son.
Rory.
What's going on, Star?
What's going on, man?
What's going on, man?
What's going on?
I'm doing good. Yo, I want.
Are you at work?
So I just.
You're at work? Where are you?
No. I'm just sitting on the porch.
Okay.
Why, is it loud?
No, you're okay, but you're not drinking, are you? I'm doing research. I don't want to be going left this afternoon.
No. I'm good. I respect the show, man.
Please,
I respect the I respect the topic, man.
Thank you.
I got to be honest with you. I got to salute you for just throwing a topic like this out there. I think it crosses all barriers, all age ranges, all races, all backgrounds.
Yeah.
You know, I lost my mom in late February to cancer.
Okay.
And and it was really tough, man. You know, me and my father split the responsibility of taking care of her when she got sick. Right. And we went through like 2.5 years of it was tough. It was turmoil. It was tough. You know, you're watching somebody basically deteriorate in front of your eyes. You know, it's my mom, man. Right. You know, she's not only my mom, she's my friend. That's my homie. Always has been, you know. And but I will say that the two main points I want to point out that I haven't heard yet is one, it's your responsibility for the care of your mother or your father or any one of your loved ones.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's an aspect to the doctors that where sometimes you don't have a feeling, you know that it's business as usual for them, and a money-making endeavor. And there was a lot of things that I didn't allow the doctors to do that they insisted on doing. Me and my dad never allowed my mom to go through chemo. My mom was diagnosed. She had stage 3 lung cancer.
Okay.
And she was always a small person. My mom's a small person. And she was only like 110 pounds, you know. So when they were insisting, I mean, they were really insisting on chemotherapy, we decided no, because we thought the chemo would kill her in our minds, knowing her and knowing my mom, him knowing his husband of him knowing his wife of 45 years, you know, and we knew how sick she was, so we just decided that we're not going to do that, you know, because we thought the chemo would kill her, and we also thought that her time on Earth would be spent being very, very sick from the chemo. Yeah. You know?
If I can jump in for a second, Roy, because you and I talk behind the scenes. I appreciate you calling in. Radiation therapy. When my uncle got radiation therapy, he and I both were under the assumption that it was going to be some pain. I knew nothing about radiation therapy in all these goddamn years. And then when I did the research and I'm talking to the doctors, and I don't want to just dump on doctors because there's a lot of great doctors and great nurses. But when I learned that the radiation therapy was painless, I said, hey, let's give this a shot. Chemotherapy, I definitely didn't want him to deal with that because the history of that. But radiation therapy, did your mom get that at all? I forget.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, once the cancer had spread from her lungs to her bones, we did a little bit of radiation therapy on her back because it was hurting her.
Right.
And so we allowed them to do the radiation on her back, and that prolonged her life, and it definitely took away the pain.
It shrunk the tumor.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Yeah. It wasn't something. It wasn't like something that was going to cure her, but it was like, preventing the cancer from spreading faster.
More life.
And
more life.
Yeah, and able to give us more time with her, more peaceful, quality time with her.
Right.
You know? And when this thing got real, like we went through 2.5 years of serious taking care of my mom. It was just between me and my dad.
Right.
When she got to the stage that she was like really ill and she had to be changed and had to be washed, you know, my father would do that, you know. But I would say like maybe 8 months before she passed away, my mom really couldn't walk anymore, walk too well. And she's a real proud woman, you know, so the thought of her being put in a wheelchair for the first 2 weeks was like, you know, we got a lot of pushback from her.
Yeah.
You know, but then eventually, but then eventually she was okay with it, you know. And another thing is, we never let her sit in the house and just like dwell on her cancer.
Right. If I can jump in for a second, because again, you and I have spoke behind the scenes. When I was in Stone Harbor a couple of years ago, I used to get my uncle 3 days out of the week, I would say, hey, we're taking a ride. I would literally help him get dressed, change him. I said, change him. I had no problem changing him. And we would take rides. I'd go to Walmart or wherever. He's sitting in the car. He's playing with the goddamn phone. I mean, I had to make sure that he couldn't access his bank on the goddamn phone. Yeah. That's another story. But, yeah, you're right, man. Take them out of the house. Keep their minds fresh. But go ahead, Roby, you were saying?
I always put my mom in a wheelchair, man, and I took her everywhere. You know, my dad did too. You know, they live down by the beach, you know, so I'd take her down to the boardwalk. I'd take my mom down and have a pint of Guinness together. You know, she couldn't drink too much, but, you know, I'd allow her to have one or two, you know, and another thing too is, and I don't care how people feel about this, marijuana made my mom a lot better.
Okay.
And it helped her very much during her sickness. It gave her an appetite. It perked her up.
Right.
It changed her mindset because she was a little bit depressed too. She knew she was sick, you know? Yeah. And one thing I will say is that it's one of the greatest things I ever did in my life is that I put my life on hold. I was able to work, but not as much as I should have. That doesn't matter. I've got savings. I got money. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I agree. One of the greatest things.
I agree. Taking that time, that personal time, it made me a better person.
Star, not only did it make me a better person, but now that I'm like, you know, I'm in mourning and I'm really missing my mom and stuff like that, I don't have any regrets.
Right.
I have no regrets whatsoever. In her greatest time of need, I was there for her. You know, and if it came down to me changing my mom and watching my mom, I don't care. I would have did that. I don't care. It was just that she was a proud woman, and I know that she wouldn't have liked that. And also, you know, God blessings. I have my father there, and my father, you know, that's her husband, and he was like, no, you don't ever have to do anything like that. I got that, you know. So yeah, salute to all the people that take care of their family and their loved ones when they're going through cancer, man. You know, it's a hard cross to bear. It's very mentally draining. It's physically draining. It's emotionally draining.
I'm going to add another word though. Yeah. It can be fulfilling. It can be fulfilling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I watched my mother take her last breath, man. You know, this is only a few months ago. I held her hand and watched her take her last breath. Okay. I'm not saying that it didn't hurt me. It didn't, you know, break my heart. But
you were there.
Knowing that I put in all that work and stuff, I really don't have any I don't have any guilt, man.
Good.
You know, and that's a big thing.
Good.
I don't think I could handle that.
Good.
If I had a lot of guilt and I felt bad about not being there for her and I could have did more. I don't really think I could have done more. And like I said, man, she was my mom and my heart, but she was also my homie, man, until the end. Right. And
I appreciate the call, Rory. I'm gonna take other calls, man. We'll talk later.
All right, Star.
Salute.
All right, big homie.
Salute. Okay. All right.
Salute.
Rory tapping in the white Denzel. My topic this afternoon, it's not a trending one, so I do need you guys, if you appreciate the topic, hit the like button so that the video can get shared. Is cancer a curable disease in the United States? My uncle that I took care of in Stone Harbor, he spent one night in hospice care. He had gotten to the point where he couldn't swallow food, couldn't really drink anymore. He wanted out, and he used to say to me, I'm done here. He used to say that this was kind of funny. He outlived his enemies. He literally used to say that. I outlived my enemies. I'm ready to go. I may or may not talk about hospice care because it got to the point where, you know, it was the right thing to do. was the right thing to do. But give me a minute. Let me play another video, okay? Here's something here, new treatment. This is supposedly an 80% cure for cancer. So my question earlier, I know we went all around and over the river and through the woods, and my question earlier, what was my question? Can they cure cancer? Or do they not want to? Maybe it's just too much of a big business. Hold on a second. Let me pull this up. Give me a second, guys. This came out a year ago, this particular video here. I think this is coming out of Australia. Again, overseas, they have a lot of advanced medicine and progress, especially, guys, anybody know what they call in UK? We have the FDA, Food and Drug Administration. What do they have over there? Something similar? But let's watch this video from a year ago coming out of Australia.
Well, welcome back to the show. Look, some exciting health news this morning. 3AW's Neil Mitchell and the Today Show here brought you the story, a new treatment dubbed the future of cancer therapy. Well, it's just received the green light from the TGA.
Pretty incredible news. The Aussie scientists behind the therapy say it could result in 80% of cancers being curable within 2 or 3 decades.
Massive.
Extraordinary figures there. Let's bring in today medical expert Dr. Nick Coatsworth. Now, Doc, this is being labelled a total shift in the way we treat cancer.
Oh, Sarah, I couldn't agree more. This is called CAR T-cell therapy. And remember the T-cells that were so important in fighting COVID? They're an important part of our immune system. CAR T-cell therapy allows us to take those T-cells from a patient with blood cancer, re-engineer them to recognise that cancer better, and then re-inject them so that it can assist with curing cancer, particularly in those individuals who have failed standard therapy. So these are people who really have no other option. And the most exciting news for myeloma patients today is that it's the Australian government that's now agreed to subsidise that treatment, which is significant cost to the patient.
Look, it has to be said too that Neil Mitchell raised this story only a couple of weeks ago, and it was on the front page of our papers, as well as being on this show. It's moved pretty quick. That treatment was about $600,000 a treatment. So now it's looking highly likely that it'll be more accessible to a wider section of the population, which is just incredible.
Yeah, it's great news, and undoubtedly the publicity helps. It's been under discussion for several years at the Pharmaceutical Benefits Advisory Committee, but there's a broader issue here, Carl and Sarah, which is for patients who suffer from rare diseases like untreatable multiple myeloma, this sort of approval gives hope that the government's looking to fund these. Now, of course, they're expensive on an individual level, but because there's not many of these patients, as an actual impact on the health system budget, it doesn't end up being enormous. So I think it's a good decision. It's the right decision. It's bringing a lot of hope to people around Australia today. Yeah,
absolutely. Very welcome news. Hey, Doc, let's move on to a different topic now. And about 1 in 2 Aussies.
Okay. The video came out a year ago, and I see you guys in the queue. Sit tight. Thank you, Deeds. Deeds says over in the UK, the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency. They also have the Food Standards Agency. The Food Standards. Hold on a second. What else do they not allow in the UK that we have here? I thought I saw something that said Mountain Dew. No, that's CAT scan information. I saw something that said, anybody from the UK? I could have swore Mountain Dew is not allowed, pardon me, in the UK. I'll come back and I'll look for it. Give me a second. Oh, here it is. Several American food products are banned in the UK due to concerns about food additives, processing methods, animal products. Okay, food dyes, chlorine washed chicken, BVO, some type of brominated vegetable oil, a common additive in the U.S., potassium bromate, pork. Guys, pork is banned in the UK. The UK has banned personal imports of pork and pork products from the EU, Norway, Iceland, Greenland, and Switzerland to prevent African swine fever. Oh, my goodness. Let me Google that. And hold on a second, guys. Print that out. Hey there, area code 916. Good afternoon. Are you there? We're talking about cancer. Area code 916.
Yeah. Good day to you.
Hey, how are you?
It's unfortunate. Of course, it's a disease, like I think the gentleman said earlier, Rory, that it affects a wide span or spectrum is better of people, right? Young, old, all nationalities. Mm-hmm. But realistically, I think it's more so cause and effect. I think a lot of the things that we eat, a lot of the products that are in them, really help create these type of situations.
Okay.
Which only leads to medical, we'll say medicine, we'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
Only going down certain paths of cures. And I don't see that as being effective. In fact, I've had some relatives, and it seemed like they suffered more after these methods kicked in and after these type of ways that they wanted to address the cancer.
I would agree.
It seemed like they suffered.
I would agree.
They suffered more from it.
Yeah.
And to me, I don't think that's where the positive part is. I think we deal with a situation that is caused, as to your point earlier that you brought up about some of these products and some of these preservatives that are in our food, and being realistic and honest, that's not in our food just because. Like, right. I don't think the UK has a whole different format where they found that these additives and these products are harmful, and for some reason the United States missed that memo, right? I don't think that that's the case. I think that the money is in the treatment, and sad to say, I think that seems to be more important than actually curing the disease. I think that's really what it boils down to. And respect to Rory, I think his name is Rory.
Yeah,
respect to him and his mother. I heard the story just recently.
Right.
And then respect to you and your family as well. I mean, I think there's a lot of people
Thank you.
who go through it, and it's disheartening. We'll say that. And then I even heard your earlier point. I'll get off. I won't take too long. But I heard your earlier point about getting this.
Stay with me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you short. Yes,
No, you're good.
Mountain Dew is banned in the UK. Instant mashed potatoes banned in the UK. There's a whole list here of stuff. Go ahead. You were saying, I just wanted to make sure I didn't forget that. Go ahead.
I mean, what you said is right. I mean, these products are banned, and that's ridiculous. And I don't think it's something that they're just missing. I think it's something that's incorporated on purpose, we'll say. Boy, I had a last point I wanted to share,
Take your time.
Oh no, I'm sorry. The scanning at 25. I think you said that people should get scanned at 25.
Why don't we? Why don't we have mandatory CAT scans for cancer?
You know, what you're saying is intelligent. You're saying an intelligent, simple, proactive solution, right? And so you're freestyling this, and you're saying, in your own mind, why don't we do this to see if we can address it earlier? And any logical person will come to that same conclusion. I would say realistically, going back to my point, is I don't think that's the purpose. I mean,
Bingo.
It sounds sad, and
Bingo.
I'm not trying to be pessimistic.
I think you're right. It would solve too much of the issues. I'm going to play another video because based upon my research, there's over 200 types of cancer. But if there's mandatory cancer scanning at age 25, maybe 21 when you become able to drink, that might cut half of the goddamn cancer in half. I'm just rambling. Go ahead. You were saying, go ahead.
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, that's logical. What you've just said is logical, and you can go into a board meeting and say that same thing, and they'll look at you like, wow, that sounds great, Star, but there's no money in it for us,
Bingo.
right? Like,
bingo.
There's no money in it. We want people to max it out till they get to at least 40, 45, 50, and then, right, and then we can say, hey, you're not feeling well? Come on in. Let's get you checked out. So I don't agree with the methods that we have acknowledged as, I guess, steps to address cancer. But, I'll throw this last part that I promise you. I'll go. 10 seconds.
Take your time.
The word remission, I looked at the word remission, and it's interesting that remission is almost like a false sense of security. One of my relatives was diagnosed with cancer, went through the treatment. They said it was in remission, but remission is not removal, right? All remission does is kind of extend the time, which doesn't mean that the cancer doesn't, or the cancerous cells don't go through the bloodstream to other organs or affect other areas of the body. It's saying that it's remission in the cancer tumor that they've identified. So it's almost like giving people, to me, and I've been in healthcare for 21 years, so it's almost like giving to me a false sense of security, right? You want to be positive, you want to be optimistic. They're always going to tell you, do all this and we can extend your life. And people forget that they use that phrase a lot, that we can extend your life, not that we can save it.
Can I jump in for a second? Can I jump in? Are you a doctor or an RN, or are you in the administration field?
No, actually with the health insurance. So I worked in health insurance for 21 years. So I get to
stay right there.
The full spectrum. I get to say the full spectrum.
I want to talk to you, sir. Stay right there. Janet, can you hold on? I see you in the queue. I'll be right back, Janet. Stay tight.
Of course.
Okay, I'm going to make sure I put Janet on hold. Okay. I mean no disrespect, but Michael Moore put out a documentary, Sicko, years ago. I think, was it 2000? And you remember that Sicko documentary?
I do.
What year was that?
It was in the early 2000s, definitely.
2007. To me, that was some of his best work. He spoke about the healthcare industry and all of the excessive billing. With my two uncles, I went through this whole thing about in-network and out-of-network co-paying. I mean, all that sort of jazz. Here I am, willing to spend money. No issue, no problem. I'll spend $5,000, $10,000. It's not a problem. They're saying it's not about that. We can't give you a certain referral unless you're in-network, right?
Well, that's exactly how it works, right? You have 3 different plans.
Right. PPO.
You have the HMO.
Right.
HMO, you got the PPO, and then you have what's called indemnity, which means you can go to any provider, but your co-insurance and responsibility is higher. Yeah.
Take your time.
So the HMO puts you in a bad position. That's what you were talking about, I think, with one of the earlier callers about a referral. The HMO, you have to go through your primary care.
Right.
They have to identify that, okay, what you're feeling is something that we need to send you to a specialist. Right. They have to refer you to the specialist.
Bingo.
And then the specialist goes from there. PPO is different. It's preferred provider organization, so you can go directly through a contracted provider, which is key. That's the in-network provider. So you can go directly through an in-network provider, but it has to be somebody that's contracted. If it's not contracted, your responsibility could change from 10% to 50% by going to someone that's not contracted.
Holy smokes. If I could just jump in for a second. Holy smokes. What was this an eye-opening experience for me, because I had to, again, humble myself when I'm talking to these people, because I had to get him on the line first to give them permission to talk to me. And then when I'm talking to them, I got to make sure I don't rub somebody the wrong way, And then,
I mean, that's true. Because you can, and people's disposition will change. So you're intelligent enough to know that.
Right. So it's just I had to bring it down a few notches. I'm talking to I'm talking to different types of people. Some of them I couldn't understand because it's all outsourcing and all sorts of jazz. But in order to get what I wanted to get for him, again, I took pride in taking care of him. But it was a lot. And that whole world of in network, out of network, it will break you if you don't have some type of basic understanding. But go ahead and land your plane. I'm in no rush. I'm enjoying talking to you.
No problem. I know you have other callers. I would just say that for my last words, I would say that I encourage all your listeners to be as proactive about their health as possible. Our people, for some reason, have a real difficult time, even when they feel pains or discomfort or they know something's not right. Some of us have a real difficult time actually going into the doctor and saying, this is how I feel, or this is, my situation. I'm feeling things are working differently. Sometimes we won't wait until it's at an extreme level before we go get that help. So I would say and encourage everyone to get help ahead of time if you do feel any type of discomfort. And on the back end, check your insurance. When you have medical insurance, make sure you contact them and find out what you're entitled to and what your responsibility is, what's your deductible, what kind of providers can you use. Like, these are all important things, especially when the situation is serious.
Right.
And that's it. I'll let it go. But I appreciate your
the
time.
call.
Star
Yes, sir.
Script.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right.
We're having a good discussion this afternoon. Folks, if you're not interested in talking about cancer, come back another time, respectfully. I learned so much over the last couple of years. Again, for those who don't know, I didn't really broadcast this, but when I moved out of Woodstock, Georgia, I moved back up to Stone Harbor, New Jersey. My auntie was developing dementia. And I was able to, along with her two daughters, my two cousins, get her some type of just much needed attention. But they were there for her. They were there for her. So my house that I owned, the house is, I'm not going to get into that, but I brought one of my uncles to stay with me because he was diagnosed with cancer. And I just want to say this before I forget. He was never depressed, but he was ready to check out. I wouldn't let him get depressed. We were having great conversations. I filmed so many discussions with he and I, whether it be video, audio, smoking cigars, whether I'm, getting him some food. And I had home health care attendants come. But he was ready to go. One of the last conversations we had at the hospital, I'm talking to two doctors. And I'm not going to dump on doctors and nurses because some of them do try. I had a general surgeon and a oncologist specialist, and they both came to talk to me. I'm there with the folder. The folder with all the medical stuff here. The CAT scan disc, the MRI disc. And they were very, very accommodating. They were talking to me about it would have taken a team of specialists to operate on him. And even then, they weren't sure if everything could be addressed and or handled. When they walked out of the room, he said to me in a very nice way, he said, "Troy, I love you. But I love you, but enough's enough." That's what he said. Enough's enough. I don't have the energy to go through radiation again. Now I'm laughing. I can laugh now, but at the time, I wasn't laughing. It was such a, what was the word? Such a neutralizing conversation. I was trying to do more, and he was saying, enough. I want to check out. Anyway, I'm rambling, pardon me. Hey, Janet, thank you for tapping in this conversation. The topic is not trending, but so good to hear from you. Janet.
Hey, Star. How are you feeling today?
I'm great. How about yourself?
Well, I'm okay. I think I'm coming down with a little cold, but I think I'll be okay.
Okay. Okay.
I called in about your topic, about the cancer topic.
Come on.
I had to go through it with my mother. May she rest in peace.
Okay.
My aunt, one of my aunts, and then another aunt, she had the colon cancer. One had lung cancer, and my mother had the bone cancer. And all three, I was, the primary. So I did have help with the second two, but the first one, no, not really with my mother, but we made it through. It's a horrible, horrible, horrible process to go through.
Very rough. Very rough.
And yeah, and I think with my mother, she had the bone cancer. It started with her head, and she didn't even tell me anything that something was wrong until it was further down the line. Because old folks, they figure they could cure themselves with some castor oil and olive oil, So I laugh now, but that's my mother was born in 1936, so they was used to taking care of their own self if something go wrong.
Well, they were stronger. Those people from that time period, a lot of my older family, and yeah, so the remedies that they used back then, a lot of it worked. A lot of it worked.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, and I don't mean to cut you short, but even the oil that they used back then was better because over the last troll babies, how many decades have we been eating gutter oil? It's literally called gutter oil. You know that, Janet, where they go to the restaurants, take the old oil, take it back to places, reprocess it, and then sell it back. It's called anyway. So yeah, so the remedies that they used back in the days did work. Booker, you're saying? Go ahead.
So they had gotten all the cancer out. We did chemo, we did radiation, we did everything because my mother was a fighter.
Okay.
And they had got it all out. But the thing was the recovery from that because it was such blows to her body. And she couldn't, and she wasn't in a mental place to recover from all the wear and tear on her body.
Right.
So that's where family support come in because it's not just the medical part. You have to have the emotional part too. So the family being there together, it cures more than what people think. It's like 30% of the cure.
Yeah.
Just giving people emotional support and showing love. That's 30% of the unity. That's 30% of the cure. Because I know a lot of people, when they hear cancer and stuff, they get scared. I have a brother right now is in a hospital. I've been going back and forth to the hospital all week long. And, they're going to test him to see if he has cancer because they don't know if it's cancer or not, but they do know that he has emphysema now.
Let me ask you a question, Janet, with all due respect. Is the cancer hereditary in your family?
I don't know if cancer is hereditary. I think the growth of cells could be hereditary because cancer is nothing but the uncontrollable growth of cells, and they grow really fast, and they start squeezing the life out.
Some cancers, Janet, I learned to talking with the surgeons and the specialists through my two uncles, that there are some cancers that are hereditary. I'm just asking you, no offense, no shade. Some of them are hereditary. That's a fact.
Well,
that's a fact.
Well, I know that we have sickle cell, like, in our family and stuff like that. But I know, like, with different types of cancer, like my brother is saying, because they did some scan and they want to look underneath a plug to see if that's cancer or not.
Okay.
But since he had pneumonia and his lungs were scarred, the cancer won't stick to the, I believe, I'm not a medical person, won't stick to his lungs. So if he was to get cancer, it will probably be somewhere else in his body. It's spread throughout the bones. But right now, he's resting. And so I got to make sure that he's okay because he's my mother and father's son. So I have to take care of their son because they're not here to do so. So I have to do it because that's my brother and I love him immensely. So,
well, hang on a second, Janet. With all due respect, when's the last time? I mean, I don't know if this is too invasive. Have you had an MRI or a CAT scan yourself?
yes. I email you when I'm in the hospital doing my scans because I try to encourage. I let people know because over like month and a half ago,
I don't want to put your business out there. So
it's okay. It's okay. I don't
it's
care
not
about
okay
discussing.
because I referenced something from one of your emails, and then you emailed me and said knock it off. So you're saying that
wow.
You told me to knock it off one time. You said, I'm taking a break off your show. You blowing up the spot.
That's only when it comes to legal stuff.
Niggas start snitching.
Legal stuff.
Okay, so now,
but I think
you have had a CAT scan in the last 2 years.
Yeah, I get up early detection for my lungs to see if I get lung cancer. And I just a month and a half ago, they found some stuff in my breast. And I told them what it was, but then my doctors and stuff, they got all nervous and you got to go for the specialist. So I went to that specialist, and they did the scan of my breast. They was like, "Well, we can't find anything." I told the lady exactly what it was. She said, "Yeah, that comes and goes." I said, "Yeah, I had that when I was in the military." So but when I was there, because they were supposed to do 2 types of tests, and I said, "Well, aren't you going to do the other one?" She said, "No, we try to minimize the amount of radiation we give to the person because radiation in itself could effectively cause a cancer, could kill or it disrupt the cells." So so I got a clean bill of health so far. Knock on wood.
If I can jump in a second here, I just Googled, okay. And what I see here is, yes, some cancers are hereditary, meaning they are caused by inherited genetic mutations. Most cancers are not hereditary, but about 5 to 10% are due to inherited gene changes that increase the risk of developing certain types of cancer. Then it goes on to say breast, ovarian cancer, prostate, pancreatic cancer can be linked to specific gene mutations. Just want to say that, okay?
Yes. Okay, so the cancer itself is caused by the mutation of the genes of the cells because the cancer is the mutation of cells. So what I wanted to say, though, I think that early prevention is correct. I believe you are 100% with that, where people should start being scanned, but not scanned because the radiology is really no good for everybody that young, but I think they could test through the blood. Also, I believe like when people are born, I think stem cells therapy, I think going off what we know now globally, I think when babies are born, that umbilical cord, I think that should be saved and preserved for them individuals because it has them stem cells that can rejuvenate life. I think people should save that. And I also believe that we should do more study in oxygen therapy for cancer. I think that would be less invasive. And I think coupled with the stem cells, that I think every child born, their umbilical cord, a piece of it should be saved for them.
Okay. Hold on a second, Jen. When's the last time, guys, anybody know anything about cell phone radiation? Years ago, there were studies done that showed that radiation from cell phones can cause loss of hearing, some type of possible tumors.
Face cancer.
Let me Google that.
That's why I never hold the phone up to my ear anymore. I always have people on speaker. Like I have you on speaker right now, but I have it real low so you don't get that feedback.
Well, that was back in the days. Most people now talk on speaker or either the little headset. But listen, Janet, great talking to you. Any final words? Do you care about the Knicks firing the coach? You don't care about that, right?
No, okay. I don't know about sports, but I just want to say, like they say that aluminum is like a metal is found in like mostly everybody now.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that's probably coming from the aluminum foil that we use. That's how metal is getting introduced to the body.
Okay.
I think these are 4 points. I think that every child born biblical cord should be saved for future medicine for themselves.
Okay.
I think oxygen therapy should be looked into, study more for cancer because it's a lot less brutal to the body.
Okay.
I think sugar. I think we should really.
Janet, your phone dropped out. Janet. I think the radiation took her down. Okay. Are we okay? Hold on a second. Johnny, I got your donation. Thank you for tapping in. Hold on, guys. Let me see. Maybe I'll restart this here, this particular thing here. Carl, I got your donation. Thank you for tapping in, sir. Carl, good to hear from you. And Julito, good to hear from you, Julito. Call in, man. Call in. Listen, I'm just rambling here. This is a research edition. I'm just rambling about cancer. And, if I can shed some light on something, okay. If not, what do I know? 1051 fam, salute star. Will cancer of the... okay. Listen, man, let's keep it serious. This is it's not a joking matter. It's not a joking matter. I mean, what I learned over the years makes me think about, and I've said this before, the healthcare industry. Holy smokes! David D. Cordova got your donation. Dr. Sebi would say cancer is curable. Yeah. Thank you for your donation, David D. Cordova.
Presentation.
Hold on a second, guys. Area code 562. Is that you, Evelyn? 562?
Yes. Yes, it is. How you doing?
Hey, good to hear from you. Thank you for your support as always. Where do you want to start, Evelyn?
Okay. Did I just hear Janet say, because this is what I was calling you about when I heard about it, your topic was about cancer. Did I hear her say that she might have had a little cancer while she was in the military?
I'm not sure.
I couldn't really get what you said. Okay, well, let me go on what I was calling you about. Okay. When my husband was on a ship, before he came to shore duty, he was young then, like in his, early 20s and stuff. Okay. But then later on in life, after he had been on shore duty for a while, he never did go back to another ship until he got ready to go over to the first Gulf War. He stayed on shore duty for a long time. Okay. So, but then when he got out of the military and went to the post office, he ended up getting cancer. He got what is the blood cancer called? Wait a minute.
I'm not sure.
Leukemia.
Leukemia.
He ended up getting leukemia. Wait a minute. But the reason why I was calling you was because 4 people, I don't know if you've been on a military ship before and been down like where they sleep at, like you got different spaces, like people sleep in.
I was never in the military, but I did go to when I was very, very young. I think it was 1974. My father took me to West Point and other places. So I've been on ships, but I don't remember. That was in the 70s.
Okay. Well, they're kind of like bunk beds. They call them racks, and they stack like 3 stories, 3 people high or whatever.
Okay.
And then you have like a little thing up under it. Anyway, while they're out on a voyage, that's how they sleep. But I was saying that to say this: in his sleeping quarters and sleeping space, like years later, like I'm gonna say, I think my husband was like 43 or 44, somewhere around there. Him and 4 of the people that slept in that sleeping quarters
got cancer.
All had cancer.
Okay.
And so I was asking him, they still all talk to each other, periodically. Okay. And they got like their little Facebook thing. I'm not going to mention the ship that they were on and everything, but they all still talk to each other from that ship. And so each time they find out, oh, another person had cancer. Another person had cancer. Well, what kind of cancer did they have? Or this.
Well, listen, Evelyn, I hate to cut you short, but did you go through cancer treatment with your husband? Is he in remission?
Yes, sir.
Where are we?
Yes, sir, I did. And he went into remission and came out. He had remission twice.
Okay.
Because like I said, he started working for the post office. Okay. And right now, see, we almost at the end now. And then, now he is kind of like, a little upset about what's happening with the post office, and this, that, and the other.
Was your husband a smoker when he was in the military? Is he a smoker?
No. His job was a nurse in the military. He didn't smoke. He did drink.
Hang on a second. Now, what year again was he in the military?
He started off in the military. Let me see. Before he met me,
just roughly. What year?
1983.
Okay. So he was inhaling secondhand smoke in the 80s.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because people could smoke on a ship then. Yeah.
I don't mean to laugh, but back in those days, oh my God, back in the 70s, my grandmother, we would be riding around in her car and the goddamn windows roll up and she's lighting up a Benson and Hedges.
Yeah.
The windows rolled up. And
light another one right off the other one. Yeah, I remember it.
I saw her coughing. And then she looked around. Oh, then she rolled the window down. But listen, Evelyn, I got to take other calls. Go and land your plane. Is your husband okay? Is he all right?
He's back in remission right now. Okay. But what I was wanting to say is that you were asking about the
mandatory.
Is there a cure?
Well,
yeah, is it a cure? And I was saying that I think that for some people it might be a cure, but I think for some people they don't want you to be cured. And then Janet had a good idea about
listen, Evelyn, I have to take other calls. You landed your plane, yes?
Oh, okay. The umbilical cord thing was good though.
Okay.
Thank you,
Evelyn. Okay. Yeah, 5G towers. I remember that years ago. Was that like 15 years ago or maybe 20 years ago? They used to talk about 5G towers and stuff like that. Johnny says this for Star. Is this your Puerto Rican? No. Okay, no. The uncle that I've been referring to was Italian. My uncle from North Jersey. You're talking about my Puerto Rican uncle. No, he didn't have cancer. It's a different uncle. Yeah. But thank you for your donation, Johnny. Yeah, my Puerto Rican uncle was the one who used to tell me, Troy, the life you save will be your own. back in the early 80s. It's I don't want to go back into that right now, but he was a great guy. Yeah. No, the uncle who I've been talking about, who I took care of and went through all of the the specialists and the hospitals and the primary care physicians back and forth, to get his prescriptions, and I would put him in one of my, actually two of my classic cars to take rides. He was from North Jersey. He was Italian. Give me a second, guys. I'm coming to the phones. I don't want to give away too much information, but he was, you can Google it. His last name was DeCavalcante. Just Google DeCavalcante, North Jersey. He died an old man, damn near 90. He said, tell me, Troy, my enemies have died. I'm ready to go. Stop with the radiation therapy. No more. No more. Okay, let me move that off the screen there. Thank you so much. Edwin, I got your donation. Edwin says, salute star from Plainfield. Right. Okay. Okay. Okay, you're from Plainfield, and you're right next to, okay, so you misspelled next, okay? My hometown, Soft Plains. Sir, Scotch Plains was a beautiful, soft place. Oh, it was so beautiful? No, sir, it was not the slums. Nobody was shooting dice on the corners, sir. Are you jealous? I appreciate the donation. Yeah, you're from Plainfield. Home of the riots. Eh? Oh, it was so soft. I used to ride my mopeds, what else? I don't want to start rambling, but thank you for your donation. Okay, hold on, my dad. Okay, let me get this on the screen. Someone's dad died from liver cancer. Salute to you, sir. Edwin, salute to you again. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I got one more video to play. One more. Area code 919. Good afternoon. We're doing a research edition, or good evening, wherever you may be. Are you there? 919.
Yes. Hello, sir. This is Zach. I'm calling out of Durham, North Carolina, home of the late, great William Terrain.
Hey, what's up, man? Hold on. I had your banner up earlier. Let me see if I can make sure I get your information on the screen. Do you want to talk about wellness, wellness eating, and other things? Come on, let's go.
Well, as always, plant-based always, my supremewellbeing.com.
Yes, sir.
That's the website. Holistic living, eating, wellness products, and all that. I was calling on behalf of my mother. She had stage 4 cancer about 3 years ago, and she's, transitioned.
Okay. Condolences.
And appreciate that, sir. And what was always crazy to me is the doctors never emphasized eating her diet. My mom's diet was terrible, in my opinion. And they just said, now one part of it, I can get it. She had stage 4, and there was no getting rid of it. So I can understand the doctor's outlook on quality of life. Let your mother enjoy, the food she wants and what she wants to do. And my mom did very well with her condition.
Okay.
But at the same time, especially with the way I live and what I believe, I was more so, when she got diagnosed, I jumped right into warrior mode. I said, Mom, we're going to have to clean up your diet a little bit. We're going to have to do this, do that, so you can be here as long as you can be. Let's fight this disease. And, of course, she wasn't with it because she never was into eating clean. My family don't eat clean. I'm like the only one who does that. Okay. Now, I used to go to the doctor's appointment with her, and I would talk to the doctors about, hey, I get it. I understand that the cancer is very severe. There's no reversing it. There's no cutting it out. But I feel like if my mother eats certain foods, these foods will combat the cancer rather than feed the cancer. And these doctors will look at me and say, no, that's not true, this and that. And I would look at these doctors, start from head to toe, and I'd be like, I can tell you don't eat the same type of foods my mom eats. I can tell you drink your water. I can tell you exercise. How are you going to tell my mom to continue eating death and poison? And I know you're not doing it.
Can I jump in for a second? Listen, this world to me came at me, and I welcomed it. I took a lot of pride in taking care of my uncle and even changing his diaper. At first,
absolutely.
He was a little, concerned because his children, his biological children, have passed on. But listen, I'm changing his diaper. I got on the latex gloves and smoking cigars. I'm laughing. He's laughing. So it became a good thing. I wouldn't let it be something that mentally brought him down. But how old was your mother when she passed on?
I think my mother was 67. It was early.
Wow.
Early last year. Yeah, man.
That's still young. But now, was she born and raised in the South?
She was born in West Virginia, so I would say so. Yep, absolutely.
Okay. A very different diet, Southern eating, Southern living, Southern cooking than up north. And with all due respect, as I said earlier, I mean, I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but we have been consuming gutter oil, vegetables.
Oh man,
vegetables that have all sorts of spray with stuff to make it more colorful and bigger.
Absolutely.
Fish is injected. The what do you call it? Not the wild caught. What do you call the fish that they farm raised? If memory serves me correctly, 20,000 fish are injected with antibiotics. I'll Google it again. Per hour, farm raised fish. So what I'm trying to say is, and you correct me if I'm wrong, because your website, pardon me, let me get that on the screen. Hold on a second. mysupremewellbeing.com, right? mysupremewellbeing.com.
Yep.
Sometimes you can be raised on a certain type of food, and when you try to eat clean or make a sudden shift, you can shock the body. You can shock the body. You can't just go from drinking water with fluoride to then alkaline water and not expect some type of reaction. Take it from there. Take your time. Take your time.
Well, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? It's all about what you intake. I was at a restaurant a few days ago, and I'll just say I was at Chipotle. Sometimes I treat myself to Chipotle. It's not the cleanest restaurant, but hey, I can go up in there and get my veggie bowl and kind of pig out for a second. Nothing's 100% pure. Even somebody like me is not 100% perfect. But anyway, while I'm sitting there, Star, I lied to you not. I had to have seen about 5, 6, 7 children under the age of 10 come into that restaurant morbidly obese. I'm like, wow. I mean, when I was growing up, all of us, when we were 6 and 7, we were damn near a bag of bones. The little skinny little kids. These kids, their parents. I mean, it's the food. It's real deep. And I mentioned my mother and the doctors. Eventually, my aunt, her sister, who helped out a lot. She says that we'll take over the doctor's appointments from now on, because I would go in there with an axe to grind. You know what I'm saying? This is my precious mom, and y'all, I feel like I don't want to take up too much time, but
it's fine. It's fine. And hold on a second. I just Googled it because we did a show on this 2 years ago.
The fish, right?
And
farm-raised fish.
Some fish farms, 20,000 fish per hour can be vaccinated using automated systems that inject vaccines. So
I mean, come on, they do it to the chickens, they do it to the cows.
We're literally fighting to not just stay alive, but we're fighting all sorts of hormones, and you know the names of these things better than I do. We're fighting Posilac and other things, and combined with the fact that young people today, they're not outside playing as
No,
my
not at all.
generation did. They're sitting behind the video games. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Right. You know, all those things, all those additives cause inflammation, swelling. You know what I mean? Not only that, the chemicals in the foods, the additives are addictive. You know, they give it the color, the color, the smell, the taste that enhances your the dye. It enhances the senses, which makes you addicted. You know, but salute to you, Star, for taking care of your uncle. Salute to Rory. His story really struck home. It was the same thing. You know, my mom, I'm an only child. My mom was my best friend. I mean, we were tit for tat. That was my lady forever. But the beautiful thing is, Star, I took care of my mom, and I never neglected her.
Nice.
I put her first. Shoot, I used to bathe her. I used to bathe my mom even when she was well enough to bathe herself, because I enjoyed taking care of my mom until the last day.
Right.
So like Rory said, he doesn't really have any regrets. I understood exactly what he was saying. So I just wanted to call in, chime in.
Thank you, man.
Troll Babies, if you check out the website, make sure you use promo code STAR at the checkout. You get 10% off. I appreciate you, Star.
Yes, sir. Thank
You're a
you.
good man.
Salute.
Love the show.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Thank you. Okay. We're having a good conversation here this afternoon, early evening now. Thank you for your comment. Hey, Ebony, I'll have my contacts in. Excellent topic, Star. Health and wellness is not spoken about enough. And now they're saying the measles and diseases are in the water. The water systems, Time Magazine. Yeah. I'm laughing because my uncle made so many great memories in the last 2 years that I took care of him. I think 2 years and 3 months. Some of you know in the live chat, when you take your family members or your elderly, loved ones to get medical attention, whether it be to their primary care physician or specialist, they always ask, has the person suffered any falls? Falls. I made sure that my uncle never fell. I would be right there watching him, holding him, walking him into the bathroom right behind him so that he would never fall. And if I even suspected him to fall back, oh, gotcha. Put him on the toilet, give him a second or two, handle his business, go do what I'm doing, come back. It's a lot that goes into it. And salute to you people out there, and I'm going to keep saying this, salute to those of you who took pride in doing this. Because I had a home health aides and other people to come by, and sometimes he didn't want to be bothered. He did one company all the time. Thank you for your donation. Peace. Marcus, good to hear from you, sir. Guys, give me a second. I'm seeing a couple of donations here. Brian, I got your donation. Thank you so much. Enjoying this show, Star. Thank you, Brian. Okay, Sunday, you're up next. Sit tight. No, but please don't email me talking about what the title should be. The title is what it is. Come on, just stop it. I felt like rambling today. This topic has been on my mind, honestly, for weeks. Don't tell me I should change the topic. Go elsewhere. Sunday, is that you tapping in on a Tuesday evening now? Sunday.
Hey, Star.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good to hear from you. What's shaking? What's cracking?
I think this is a great topic.
Thank you.
It's excellent to bring awareness. You can never talk about it too much, to be honest.
Right. Any personal experience with cancer?
Yeah, I've had a biopsy done on my throat.
Oh, wow.
I had a biopsy done on my throat after I had my son in 2017. I was fearful that there might have been cancer because I have a nodule.
Okay.
And basically a nodule is a lump. And so when I had a biopsy done, that was in Fairbanks, Alaska. That needle is so painful. It hurts like hell. It really, really hurts. Anyway, they checked for cancer cells.
Okay.
And luckily it was just a cyst and it's not cancer.
Okay.
But I have worked with so many women who have had thyroid cancer. And so they have an incision right at the base of their neck. And they've had to have both their thyroid glands removed because of the cancer. And I was so grateful, and I was just on my knees thanking God that it wasn't cancer and it's just a cyst. But it's something that a lot of women get, and it's not talked about enough. I think a lot of people kind of focus on the major cancers, and thyroid cancer kind of gets, you know, by the wayside. It's not as popular to discuss.
Okay.
Mostly it's breast cancer that's discussed with women, cervical, ovarian cancer. But when it comes to the thyroid, it's something that has a lot of very glaring symptoms that people overlook. And checking your thyroid gland is fantastic preventatively, because there's some severe consequences for having it removed. You end up having to be on lifelong meds, which has side effects, and it's just not a good experience if there's things to prevent that. So I was pretty glad that I went ahead and did a very painful procedure of getting the cancer cells evaluated. I have
if I can jump in, if I can jump in for a second. So you had a abnormal tissue growth. That would be considered what, a polyp or something like that? P-O-L?
It's a cyst.
Right, but
No, it's a cyst.
Hang on. The clinical term is Polyps. Polyps? How do you say that?
No, it's a cyst. I have a lot of, actually, I have a couple, women tend to get cysts, and it's something that is definitely hereditary, but it is benign. It's not, it's completely benign. And I have family members that have issues with their thyroid gland where they have an actual thyroid disease. The functionality of my thyroid is completely normal. However, the cyst I will have removed. And I think that...
But hang on, Sunday, I want to go back to cancer. Polyps. Yeah. How do you say that? P-O, or am I saying something different? P-O, if you can just Google this or write it down. P-O is in Oliver, L-Y-P-S. It says abnormal tissue growths, often small and resembling bumps or due to stalks, various parts of the body, including uterus.
No, you said it correct.
Okay.
But I would not call a cyst a polyp. That's different. So the cyst.
No, I wasn't calling your cyst that. I'm just saying I was reading something else with regards to women's symptoms. But let's get back to cancer. So have you ever taken care of anyone that had cancer? Because I'm asking the question: is cancer a curable disease? There's over 200 types of cancer. Listen, I'm a low budget sociologist, a high school dropout, but again, since taking care of my two uncles, more so the one that recently passed away in Stone Harbor, New Jersey, I've been wondering, why don't we have mandatory national cancer test? That's my question.
Well, that's all financial. America does not want to pay for that. I think they profit off of people being sick. I'm in my third career. I'm 36, but I've had three careers. And my transition into healthcare was about 8 years ago.
Okay.
And I've worked in a lot of different environments. So I worked in a private practice.
Okay.
And when I worked in a private practice, I was a medical scribe to an anesthesiologist, and she had a pain clinic, pain management. And I would just, ask her all the questions I could think of that I've always wanted to know. And I spoke to her about cancer. And she had told me about, because she was much older, she was 75, and she told me that there was this woman who wrote a book about healthy eating, Well,
hang on a second. I don't mean to cut you short, but I'm also want to stick to your personal connection or experience. Someone on the screen here is S. Rogers. Let me see if I can read that. Star, cancer is 100% curable. Info about the cure is on YouTube. It's not radiation nor okay, but it's deeper than purely physical. Most people can't heal because of their inability to let go of old habits and wounds. I would agree with that. You know, old habits, whether it's smoking, whether it's lifestyles, you know, of eating. Any thoughts on that, Sunday, before you land your plane?
Okay. So I won't get into what the doctor had told me, but I have cared for patients that were dying of cancer.
Okay.
And it's a really tragic, terrible thing for anybody to have to actively die when they have so much life left in them. The last patient that I cared for that was young, I think she was in her 50s, and she was dying of cancer, was at a hospital. I was working in the progressive care unit, and she just spoke to me at great length about how she felt like there wasn't enough awareness about HPV, because that is a cancer-causing disease.
Okay.
It's preventable. It's an STD, and it causes cancer in women.
Sunday, can you land your plane? I'm getting backed up on calls
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. So anyway, all I'll say is there are preventative screenings that would take effect for the individual trying to prevent cancer. But as far as lifestyle changes, it doesn't have, it's not a cure. Changing your lifestyle is not a cure. So I disagree with the comment that was made. That's what people would like to be the case. But even if you eat healthy, you can still have cancer.
Okay.
That's my final word. Thank you, Star.
Thank you, Sunday. Okay. I don't know. I just, I made the best of what I was facing. But again, you know, to each his own. Everybody has their own way of going about things. My uncle said, Troy, enough already. I'm almost 90. SVG says eating seasoned coochie leads to mouth cancer. Well, sir, I wouldn't know. I ain't eating no seasoned coochie. Fuck out of here. Pardon my language. Someone sent in Star, if you look up cyst synonyms, Merriam-Webster list 15, and polyps is there. Okay, I don't know. I was trying to get back to cancer with Sunday, not so much cyst. Cancer is the topic, guys. If you want to chime in, call in. Anybody else care about the New York Knicks? I don't care. I don't care about them firing their coach. I really don't. Knick fans up here trying to make all sorts of excuses now. You're trash. You're complete and utter trash. I just don't like the ideology, the philosophy, the swag, if you will, of the Knicks. All that Walt Frazier, Willis Reed, all that stuff is out the window. That was a different era. They dressed like, you know, gentlemen. I don't know, man. I'm just not trying to entertain the Knicks anymore. I'm done with it. Okay, pick up 2535. Who's in the queue? I got your donation. Where is 2535? Hey there, good evening. Thank you for your support. Please watch the language.
Hey, what's up, Star?
How are you?
Doing good. This is Travel Boy Jay. I've called in before, particularly on the Jesus and the boy topic.
Oh, hey, what's up, man? How are you?
Doing good. So I want to talk about cancer, if I may.
Please.
You want to know the truth? We could have cured cancer a long time ago, but we didn't. Not because we couldn't, but because we wouldn't. There's this bacteria. It's a virus. Technically, it's called bacteriophage. You can Google it. The phage in Greek means to eat. And that's what it does. It infects and it eats bacteria alive. But the wild thing is you can train it, you can engineer it, you can guide it right to the cancer cells, and you send it in like a heat-seeking missile.
Okay.
It destroys all of the healthy stuff, not just the rot. And so we've seen it work, not just in theory, but in practice. In labs, like on mice or monkeys, we inject the cancer with this phage, and the tumors shrink or they even disappear. Sometimes it only takes a few days, sometimes a few weeks. Either way, it's gone.
Okay.
But the reason why we haven't been able to patent it naturally, because it's a money thing. So
if I can jump in, I'm not sure how much of the show you caught from earlier. This is what I was alluding to with regards to the multi-billion-dollar industry that it has become. And again, I see the glass as halfway full, not halfway empty. So I'm not, on some type of conspiracy. Oh, yeah, I don't know enough. I can just give my personal experience with taking care of my uncle. I made the best of it, but it got to a point where I ultimately had to make a decision, and I'm sure I made the right decision. But what I have seen and what I believe to be true, because I'm a science fiction guy, I'm thinking of Dr. McCoy, who used to just put the little thing next to people and the cells would regenerate. So in my mind, correct me if I'm wrong, it can be cured, all of the different types of cancer at some point in time. Take it from there.
Absolutely. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Yeah. And you think they're going to want to lose that overnight? Hospitals, pharma companies, insurance giants. No, they don't want you to be healed.
No.
They want you to be manageable. That's what they want. This is a whole industry. People have come forward, scientists, researchers, whistleblowers who have said this works. Yeah. This bacteriophage is a real thing.
And then they disappear.
Ignored, discredited, silenced.
They disappear.
And they wake up with, they suicide themselves, right? Or, or unalive themselves.
Right.
But yeah, so I've worked in healthcare for 10 years. I've met some of these people that have these different theories, but you can't make money off of it, right? You can't come out and say that, there's no incentive to end this. I mean, we've seen it work, but they won't let it work because their cure isn't profitable. But your illness, your pain, that's the product they sell.
That's the profit. Now, hang on a second. You don't have to say where you work. You say you've been in the healthcare industry for a decade. Is that what you said?
That's right.
I would guess, correct me if I'm wrong, that the UK is closer to finding some type of cure, something to regenerate cells or something in regards to cancer. Yes, no, the UK?
Yeah, that's interesting. The company I work for actually is headquartered in the UK. And so I don't know. I mean, I maybe, perhaps, I would say the U.S. healthcare system is the leading healthcare system in the world, and they will stop something if it messes up their profit. For sure. Okay, Star, I'm going to land my plane.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you.
Thank you. Okay. Star Report, back in the building. Is cancer a curable disease in the United States of America? Let's go to area code 972. You there? Good evening. 972.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well.
What do you want to jump in?
Yes, you said it's cancer curable. Yes, it is. Okay. Now, people talk about a lot of the early, like the 19th century, a lot of the toxic metals that they extracted out of the earth crust, like I can give you the name of one of them, radium. Okay. That's radium. Okay. And I say radium-88. Okay. You can Google that and check it out. Anybody listen to it and see what they was doing, because they had an experiment actually in St. Louis, Missouri. I just did a reaction on the documentary.
Okay.
Called Open Air Study in St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay.
But they was spraying radium. They was spraying this toxic medical radium in the air. They was claiming they were saying it's supposed to get rid of mosquitoes, bugs, in the city, in their cities and stuff. but it actually later on turns out it was very toxic chemicals. Like it's a radioactive metal that naturally comes out the earth crust, and they was using it in excess for different, different purposes, different reasons and stuff like that, and it was causing people in these areas cancer and all type of things like a lot of asthma with the respiratory and kidneys and diabetes problems and stuff.
Have you yourself had any personal experience with cancer? You?
Absolutely. Diabetes. Diabetes. Yep. I was diagnosed in 2003 with diabetes, but as of 2017, I was no longer on the on
type 2 or type 1.
First.
How many different types?
Type 2.
Type 2. Okay.
Me personally, Star. I've been on this journey of researching this stuff, and me personally, the medical journals are out there that has the information. In fact, there are different. That's more than just two types of diabetes.
Okay.
They know this.
I don't know, so I've never had diabetes. I go get checkups regularly. I don't know. I mean, I can just go by what I've heard. How many more different types of diabetes are there? I've seen people who have to get some type of injections in the eye and craziness. What is that? What type of diabetes is that?
There would have to be someone with your retina or something like is it TB? I think TBD or something like that.
I don't know.
Something like that. But they got the other type. Did you know that? And this is in the medical journals. Anybody that's in the medical field.
Okay.
Was it not Alzheimer's? What's the other one with the brain disease?
I don't know, sir. You said you did the research. I don't know. You can't ask me. I don't know.
No. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's the other name of the other brain. Not Alzheimer's, but it's another one. Not Alzheimer's.
Emphysema, scoliosis. I don't know.
No. When they be forgetting things, it's not Alzheimer's.
Menopause. Menopause.
No. The other one with the brain when they forget stuff. Older people when they forget stuff.
Dementia.
In the brain.
Dementia.
Medical journals got this document that dementia is type 3 diabetes.
Okay.
It's either type 3 or type 2 diabetes. This is a medical fact in the medical journal.
Gotcha.
Facts.
Come on.
But I reversed my diabetes. I was at one point, I was at a 13 A1C. My A1C was at a 13. And I had some things I did, fasting and stuff, taking away a lot of the
Did you say how old you are, sir? How old are you?
Well, I'll be 44 in November. 44.
44. Okay. So you reversed your diabetes. You had to change your diet. Yes.
Absolutely. 100%.
You got the pork off of your fork. The pork off your fork.
Well, it wasn't necessarily the pork, but it was animal fat, and that's what they don't tell a lot of these people. Started animal fat is one of the main, especially with people. I'm gonna say so-called melanated, copper-colored, carbon beans. This animal fat that they use is too thick, and the body cannot process it.
Okay.
So it causes the body, it causes the kidneys, it causes the pancreas and stuff to try to compensate and break this stuff down, and it actually can throw the glucose and all this stuff out of order because it's trying to compensate, it's trying to break it down. Because everything that you eat and consume in your body actually breaks down to glucose. It's called sugar alcohol.
Right. Now, hang on a second, sir. I'm Googling while you're talking. So there's 3 main types of diabetes. 3 main types, right? It's number 1, number 2, and the third one starts with a G. Tell us. You say you've studied this. I Googled it. There's 3 types. What's the third type? GESTAT.
You say GEF? I can't think of the name right now because I used to be on it. Let me see if I can Google right quick. Let me put you on hold. Let me Google so I can get the name.
Troll babies. Is he capping? I'm letting the man talk. What's going on?
We building. We building. We building. But yes, cancer can be reversible. Depends on what it is. Yes, it can be. It's curable.
Well, sir, can you tell us about the 3 types of diabetes? You called in. You said you've been doing research on this.
Right.
I don't know nothing.
Okay, type 1.
Type 1.
You got insulin resistance, right? You got type 1, which is dealing with like.
Just get to the third one, sir. Just get to the third one. The third type of diabetes starts with a G. GESTAT.
I don't know the name of it, but but it has something to do with dementia though, for sure. And pretty much, I don't know the actual name of it, but it has something to do with dementia. They don't tell you that dementia is a form of it's a type of diabetes.
So I don't see nothing about dementia. Can you Google it? I'm gonna spell it for you one more time. G as in God.
Yeah.
ESTATION as in Nancy AL. I don't see nothing about dementia. I could be wrong.
Okay, hold on. Spell it one more time. Spell it one more time so I can get it.
Thank you, sir. Kids, I had to get him up out of here. I'm sorry. I couldn't do that. We're having a good conversation. Peace, the Most High, tapping in about the New York Knicks.
Star, peace.
I'm sure.
Yeah, man, it's a good day in New York, man. They finally sent them packing. They finally packed them up. Subpar, mediocre coaching for years. So, you know, again, he might have brought the team back to some respectability as a coach in terms of making them like consistent, perennial playoff contenders, but playoff contenders are not championship contenders. So he failed to get them paws over the hump, and now he's on the unemployment line.
Let me jump in and say, you, Boris, and Left-Handed, and Florida Boy Jay, I will let you guys call in and talk about the Knicks firing Tom Thibodeau. Anybody else? I don't care. I'm sorry. And CP from Knicks Fan TV is welcome to call in. I disagree. Sam, I analyze. You're right. I disagree with you, sir. Firing this man is not going to help you. The organization needs to be sold down the river like an old slave. Trash. Now Knick fans want to make him the scapegoat. That was predictable. That's predictable. I say he got you there. You haven't been there since, what, 1999 in the Eastern Conference Finals? Correct me if I'm wrong.
They actually made the chip in 1999 during the strike shortened season in 1999.
Okay.
They lost to the Spurs that year.
But my question was, you haven't even been in the Eastern Conference Finals since 1999. Yes, no, I could be wrong.
Correct.
So this man got you close. Now he's gone. Now what?
You maybe you might hire Mike Malone, or you find somebody who can make the adjustments that need to be made, and make the adjustments that he seemed to not be able to make. And also, too, I sent you that video maybe yesterday, not even thinking this was going to be a thing 48 hours ago, and they ended up firing him the next day. So, which was great for me. I sent you that video.
The Most High, with all due respect, sir, I didn't click on nothing from nobody about no Knicks. Once they lost, out of here. I don't care. Boris is the first one to send me the link today about the Knicks firing the coach. I just don't care. Who's next? Who's in line to be the coach? Why not Patrick Ewing? Why not Pat Ewing?
Nah, no Patrick Ewing. I say Mike Malone. Patrick Ewing he doesn't have I don't think he has what it takes to be a professional coach. He wasn't successful in Georgetown. I think he was on the staff in Charlotte.
Why not Allen Iverson? Why not bring in AI to coach the Knicks?
Chillax. Ain't no AI ain't trying to coach no teams, man. He's spending that Reebok money.
I'm as serious as colon cancer.
He's not a coach, sir. Not every former player is cut out to be a coach. So then you have to look at
why not Michael Jordan? Hold on. Listen, I'm going to talk with regards to the Knicks the way that Dolan and the franchise thinks. It's all about filling up the seats. Why not Michael Jordan? Why give me some other flashy, jiggy names.
You could throw all the names out you want to throw out. The thing is, sir, throughout time, you could throw out any coach that went from a successful player, superstar player, Hall of Fame player. They do not necessarily translate into the front office, not as coaches, not as GMs, not as presidents. Very rarely. I could count maybe 4 or 5 on one hand, and that's it. Literally. Michael Jordan is
what about Allen Houston? Is he still?
He's already in
still with the team?
Front office for the Knicks.
Yeah.
Yes, he's been there.
The $90 million bum who caught you lacking, right? What was that, 90 million for how many years? I remember.
At that, I don't remember the contract per se, but they gave him a lot of money for that particular time, and he wasn't considered a franchise player. So the Knicks were in flux from the Patrick Ewing era in the mid to late 90s.
You gave him 90
They gave him 90 million. And then if you want to, now watch this. The funny thing is that same year that they made the chip and lost to the Spurs, it was him and Speedwell and Marcus Camby driving that bus.
Okay.
So Patrick got hurt and he didn't play that year.
The Most High, hey man, I appreciate you. I respect you. I just can't do this conversation. these
I'm saying it's the topic. It's one of the topics of the show.
No.
So and again, I
got to get back to cancer. I appreciate you, but I'm on my Nick hating flow right now.
So let me. Can I build on the cancer topic?
Yeah, please. Is cancer a curable disease in the United States?
It's a curable disease. It's a curable disease, but the thing is that they want us to have cancer amongst other diseases. They want us to have it. It's the environment for toxicity is all around us more than it's ever been. So if it's not in the food, it's what the food is contained in. If it's not in the atmosphere, it's through the chemtrails and the barium. If it's 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 something that's multi-layered. There's a lot of facets to what we're dealing with. And you just said something funny. You just said was true though. You said I think it's over for us. And it's over for us because people don't want to change, and then we're being bombarded with the influence, the greatest power of influence, to keep buying toxic food, to keep buying, BPA, deficient plastics and whatever the case is, and lotion, toothpaste, your water with fluoride and whatever. Like we can go on. The fabric that you wear in your clothes is not even cotton no more. So the blending.
Some of these females that you stick your tool in,
facts.
They've got cancer.
Facts.
And we don't even know it in their uterus and their, what do you call it, cervical walls or something. They've got cancer. Polluted wombs.
They finding out now because of the douche they use. That's 100% right. They finding that out with listen. You know how black girls and whatever they throw them mad.
It's all of them. Hold on a second. It's not just black girls. All of them, and it's especially the Hispanics, the BBLs, and all the listen, man.
No, the powder. I was gonna say the powder. Black girls throwing powder in the summertime or whatever, and the talcum got people going to court for class action lawsuits because that was causing cancer. So this is all fact. It's all around us. They want us to get it. You lucky if you don't.
I'm going to give black girls a pass on this one. I'm going to say those ratchet Hispanics and those Caucasian girls. But listen, I got to take the calls, man. Got to take the calls.
Peace, God.
Peace. I'm going to give black women a pass on that one, huh? You got you guys jumping on planes, passport bros. You're going out to DR and all these other places. You're laying down with these girls that are HIV infected. Oh, there he is, Boris, the man who sent me, the first person who sent me this, the coach being fired from the Knicks. I'll give you a couple of minutes, but I don't want to make this a whole topic, Boris. The Knicks fired the coach.
Yes. I did not mainly call because of the Knicks. Okay. I feel your pain as well. They are not worth my breath, but right. I just wanted to, since the Most High just got off the line, to make a few corrections. The last time the Knicks made it to the finals was in '99. However, you ask when was the last time they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and that was in 2000, 25 years ago. Okay. And they lost to the Indiana Pacers in 6 games. History repeats itself. Yes,
I was
once
off.
A bomb, always a bomb.
Off 1 year.
Yes, no, he said it was 99, but 99 was when they went to the NBA Finals. Okay. You ask when was the last time they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. Right. Right. As far as coaching, I have heard some rumblings about the short list, and it includes Mike Malone, the man that delivered the championship to Denver Nuggets.
I don't know who that is.
Taylor Jenkins, Grizzlies ex-coach.
Okay.
Sam Cassell, and Steve Nash. So I do not know why we need the last two, but this is what I'm hearing. And Mark Jackson, former player of the Knicks. But
Boris, stop. Mark Jackson, ringless Mark Jackson.
I'm right. I'm hearing rumors. However, I think that he has been banned by the NBA. He has been blacklisted because if you know anything about why he was fired from Golden State, it's because the ownership did not like his Christian-like approach.
He wanted everybody to pray, and they said, "You've got to go." But listen, Boris, I don't want to focus too much on the Knicks.
No, I don't. Right. I want to land my plane with the Knicks. I just wanted to talk about the cancer now.
Please.
To answer the simple question, 100% it is curable. But the higher ups, the powers that be, will never disclose that information. I want to a little bit go to the left to make to illustrate an example. In 2009, I remember when I wanted to purchase the iPod Touch, right? Because the previous year, 2008, the iPod Touch came out without a camera. In 2009, it came with a camera in the back. I landed my hands on, you can say, semi-classified information of the iPhone 10 years ahead, which had all the specifications. I'm saying all this to say that people already know what will come out in the future, but they will never disclose that.
Of course.
Right. When I came to this country, I was blown away by how everything was big. Buildings, humans. It was a culture shock for me because in Russia and European countries, it's very hard to find obese people. I'm not saying they're not existent, but it's different. You do not go every corner and you see somebody overweight. And if you think that obesity and poor diet has nothing to do with cancer, you are kidding yourself. I think that there are many things in animals that can cure cancer. I do not know if you know, Star, but elephants are very resistant of catching cancer.
I've heard that.
Right. Snake venom has benefits in combating cancer. The same goes with scorpion venom. The same thing goes with bee sting. It has something that can help with breast cancer. But, like you said, when you come up with a hypothesis, you will disappear. Because we want for you to have these things.
Right.
You saw what happened during the pandemic. You saw what happened during the pandemic. They sped up a jab in which it requires properly to conduct tests over a decade, but they sped it up. They said, you're not going to take this shot. You will be fired.
Let me jump in for a second, Boris, because you see, that's part of the reason why I was just thinking to myself a couple of years ago, back when I was taking care of my uncle with terminal cancer. I said, if they can shut down the United States and make it so that you can't ride a train, you can't fly in a plane, you can't even go in certain places without showing that you were vaccinated. Clearly, they can instill some type of mandatory cancer scanning coming in high school. Never mind adults who may have polluted wombs, may be addicted, they may be already on the course to some type of bodily destruction. But at least make it mandatory for kids. I think it's coming to that point somewhere down the line, if not by way of cancer, by way of eugenics, in my mind. Go ahead.
Right. And as it pertains to your question about foods, there are many American foods that will never see the light of day in Europe. Right. Fruit Loops is banned.
Right.
Mountain Dew is banned.
Mountain Dew, yeah.
In a different call, I even told you that the bread that they use in American Subway in Italy is considered to be confectionery bread. It's considered to be like a candy.
Right.
So they banned that as well. Because also, Star, I do not know if you know, there are many Americans, especially near New Mexico, that prefer ordering Coke
Coca-Cola and Sprite from Mexico, because Mexicans use sugar cane, but Americans use corn syrup.
Right. Yeah.
It is the taste is different, and the impact, the implications on the body are different as well.
Fructose and some other cancer-causing agent. That's why we've got different types of Coca-Cola. One says original taste, the other one is Coke Zero, something crazy. But Boris, I got to take other calls, man. I appreciate you.
No problem. Take care. Have a good one.
Thank you. Okay. Area code 917. You're my last caller. Good evening. Talking about cancer.
Hey, Star, it's Colleen.
Hey,
sorry, I had
Colleen.
to hang up earlier.
That's okay.
Had a
How are
conference
you?
call.
How are you?
I'm okay. So I had skin cancer on my arm.
Oh, wow.
I had to have this huge part of my arm removed by my bicep.
Whoa.
And that's because I spent most of my summers, I'm from the Bronx, but I spent most of my summers on the Jersey Shore surfing and spent a lot of time in the sun. And I don't have any regrets about that.
Okay.
What I'm very concerned about insofar as my diagnosis is concerned is I've encountered a lot of melanated people who believe themselves to be impervious to skin cancer. And that's not true. What happens is, as you know, the organs are closely connected. You know, every organ is connected to another organ as far as functionality is concerned. So if you have some type of skin disorder, most of the time you could trace it back to the liver. Something's going on with your liver. And unfortunately, what happens to a lot of melanated people is they develop skin cancer, right? They don't realize it's skin cancer until it spreads to the liver. So by the time it gets to the liver, because we live in a society where our medical institutions are kind of like, as we've had this conversation before, they believe that Black people in particular have higher pain thresholds. They're more often than not to dismiss doctors and medical professionals will sometimes dismiss the concerns of Black and Hispanic people and just, kind of, oh, well, that's normal for somebody your age. And what I suggest going forward is that this happens to anybody and there's a level of dismissiveness involved when they go to doctors with their concerns. First and foremost, tell the doctor to note their chart that the doctor refused to send them for an MRI or any other kind of screening, whether it's a dermatological screening or MRI, CAT scan. Tell them to, everybody should say, okay, well, I want you to note my chart today that I asked for an MRI because I'm concerned about this pain under my left, on the left side under my ribs. And you said that I didn't need it, right?
Can I jump
most
in?
of the time,
Can I jump
go
in,
ahead.
Colleen? Are you talking about melanoma? Did you say that?
Skin cancer, melanoma, yes.
Okay.
But it's not, I'm telling about my personal journey with skin cancer.
Okay.
I haven't had any other, lesions I've had biopsy.
I'm not trying to interrupt your flow, but you're a Caucasian woman. But
yes, I'm Irish, of Irish descent, so I don't tan.
Okay. but now
and I get the Irish tan. I get sunburn.
Okay, you were saying Black people should be a little bit more concerned, but now, according to what I just pulled up here, Black individuals, according to AI Overview, have a lifetime risk of melanoma of about 1 in 1,000, compared to 1 in 38 for white individuals. So.
And you still should be concerned.
Okay, I just want to read it. That's all. Because
that's fine. I understand, but you still should be concerned. 1 in 1,000. I understand.
You're right. I would say not to cut you off. I would say Black people should be more concerned with what do you call that? Oh my goodness, and not just diabetes, cholesterol.
Oh yeah, high cholesterol, hypertension.
Oh my God. Hypertension.
Yeah, that's all of these things that can be contributed, or that can be a result of poor diet. Yeah. Right. All of these things that are, throwing down on Sunday. I still cook for my adult children. They like to eat, fatty foods when I cook for them. So I'll make like
meatballs and pasta, whatever. But that's most of the time they eat very, very healthy. They're eating, a lot of protein.
I think we're doomed. I just can't.
No, I agree. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. Because when I try to have this conversation with my students, they all vape after school. Right. They all smoke after school. And I'm like, listen, popcorn lung is a real thing. It's incurable and you can die from it. Okay. I want you to not vape anymore. They don't care.
We're doomed.
They don't care.
Colleen,
they don't care.
I came to the party late. I have now been eating Chick-fil-A.
Oh no, please.
For the last
how many chemicals are in Chick-fil-A?
I'm 61, Colleen. I had one foot in the grave anyway. But I was
you don't.
Yeah. I call Dana all the time in the mornings after I get my Chick-fil-A breakfast. And she laughs because I shouldn't be there. We're doomed as a society. We're just got land to play. I just want to say that.
I just want people to be more vigilant about their health, and I don't want anybody's concerns to be dismissed when they go to the doctor. So please, again, while Star pulled up AI generated, information about 1 in 1,000 melanated people having skin cancer, I think by the time people go to the doctor, it's already spread to their freaking livers. You know what I mean? So just be super hyper vigilant about your health. And just if a doctor doesn't want to send you for a test, say, note my chart. And most people have my chart now where you could pull up your notes right away on your computer. Right. So I just want everybody to take care of themselves. Star, you don't have one foot in the grave. You'll probably outlive everybody that's on the phone right now.
Great to talk.
I'm really, really sorry about your dad. Not your dad, about your uncle's passing. That must have been a very difficult thing for you.
He lived a great life. He said, I've done everything. He says, come on. He says, stop with the radiation.
90s a pretty good run. 90s a good run. So, okay, be blessed, everyone. Have a good night.
Bye, Colleen. All right.
Bye-bye.